What up?
What's up?
Hey,
What's going on, you guys?
Doing, guys?
So, welcome to the Nicotina Show. This is our new time on Monday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. I should have made that clear. And there was a scheduling mishap. I let Ryan make the schedule, and he put it for next week. So it's actually today, but we are going to have a show every Monday. So definitely stay tuned for that. Hit that bell notification button and subscribe to the channel. As we'll be doing this every single week. And not to mention, this Thursday is also the Four Nerds as well. So you're going to see me, Ryan, Anthony, and Dawson from Nerdy Many Ways. We're going to have on Sean Mayer and Lewis, the movie buffs that will be on the show with us this coming Thursday to talk about all kinds of good shit that is going on in the world of pop culture. What's this? Is your mic on? I think so.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Andre! What's going on, Fear Jason?
Is it clipping?
What up?
What up, Fear? Hey, is it clipping for you, Ryan? Is his mic clipping?
Is my mic clipping?
Like when you get loud,
it's just there's not any bass in it.
You know what it is? I know what it is. Hold on.
You sound. It does sound bad. I'll tell you.
It's clipping. Like whenever you got loud for me, it's like, you know.
Hold on, I know what it is.
You're using the wrong mic.
No, that sucks.
Using the fucking.
That's horrible.
I can't hear you. The arm.
Okay, does it sound better now? How about now?
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there.
There. Yeah.
Whatever
you
changed
did.
it. I changed it.
Don't,
you know what I
don't
did is I gave it a real harsh look, and then it fixed itself. Okay, so guys, later on today we are going to have Uche on the show. We're going to have an interview with Uche, but before we get to all that, and also Allie will be joining us later on in the show as well. There we go. Everyone's like, way better. That's better. Sounds different.
Less filling, tastes great.
So here we go. This is probably the biggest news of the entire week. So, we're starting off the week fresh. Okay. Yeah. Nothing really big dropped today, but something did drop this weekend that I thought was really big. So here we go. Breaking news, you guys. Wayne T. Carr tweeted out, he said, grateful, stretching between takes. And I believe this was the first picture that we saw, and that's Wayne T. Carr. Yeah. And this is the shot of him being filmed on the driveway. Is that right?
I think he's if you can see, he's got there's a tennis ball right there that I guess that is Kilowog, and he's holding on to him for dear life for some reason.
Okay, so that's Kilowog next to him.
I think that's Kilowog. It's a ball, and usually the ball is a point of interest, or some reference point. So that's there for some reason. But yeah, no, the most interesting thing that I saw from this photo is he's clean shaven. Usually or typically when I think of Jon Stewart, I think of at least a goatee. So if not a beard. But yeah, no, he looks hella young.
Nice fade.
Yeah, he's got that nice fade going. It looks like this is maybe really early in his career as Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think so. We got Steve Gasson in the chat. What's going on, Steve?
Steve, what's good?
Caleb,
Dallas to Dallas.
What up?
Dallas to Dallas, baby.
That's what's up. Yeah,
that is definitely happening.
Yeah, so we are still going to Dallas. It's just unfortunately they cut off the Justice League exhibit, and they've replaced it with the Mortal Kombat exhibit.
Mortal Kombat.
So we'll be going to see Mortal Kombat.
And we did work out an arrangement with the museum, so Ryan will be able to try on the Sub-Zero costume.
I will. Stay tuned.
And I will be wearing the Katana outfit, or who was it? What?
Oh, I was going to say, and Anthony is going to be dressed up as Goru.
No, man. Straight Sonya Blade, man. I'm going Sonya Blade, man.
Sonya Blade.
I can't wait to see you in that outfit. We're going to take some photos and maybe some video.
We got Austin Lynn in the chat. What's going on, Austin? We got Gavin Cooley up in the chat as well. Real quick shout out to all the patrons of the Nicotina Show. If you want to become a patron, the link is in the description below. And if it's not, it will be by the end of the show. And you can look at my other shows as well, or just go to Patreon, look up Nicotina Show, and you can become a patron like these badasses right here. 2 of them are actually on the show with us right now. So thank you so much, you guys.
Hey.
And unfortunately, as Ryan was saying, we are not going to get the chance to see all this amazing
stuff
because Ryan went.
They didn't post it. They did not post the dates for this thing, and they closed off this exhibit this past Friday.
Yeah, no, they shut it down early. They shut it down early. I saw
they
where
did.
it was supposed to be there for 3
did.
months, and they shut it down after.
They shut it down early. They're like, get this thing out of here. We gotta remember. We got a
4K release.
Yeah, the 4K release. The Justice League is coming out, guys. Let's blow everybody away.
Oh shit.
And we got Nerdy in Many Ways. Don't patronize him. Oh, that was a good one.
If you want to join our Patreon, you go ahead and click that link and be a Patreon member.
Yeah, Dawson, this one's for you for that joke. Sam, get out of here, man. Get out. Shout out to the mods. Yes, Barcy.
Barcy's in the house. Good to see you.
He's saying, "What's up, guys?
What up?
Today is
Hey, so guys, good Monday. What?
It's far. It must be far away. I don't know.
Is very far. Monday's very
very far.
If Ryan keeps bragging about how he got to see that, I'm gonna revoke your monkey wrench, homie. The monkey wrench beside your name. Like,
the monkey wrench. We got Arkham Gaming here as well. What's up, Arkham Gaming? And of course, as always, we have my main man. We have Sickness in the house. We got Fatma as well saying, "Hey, Nicotina, hey, ECS."
Hey,
there we go. She's like, "That's better. That's better." All right.
I had shit to
bring
do.
Ryan back.
I actually had shit to do. So okay, I guess I'm here for the show.
That was gold comedy, and you know it. Whatever, dude. No way. Yeah. One more time for Dawson. This one is for you. Where'd it go? Here it is. Whoop. I'm gonna change the name of it. But Dawson. Every joke for Dawson, he just laughs. He laughs his ass off. He kind of like this. Let's see here. I'm sorry. Hey, Ryan.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. No, it's cool.
There we go. What do you think of all the MCU announcements, Eric? We're going to talk about that a little bit later on the show, but and we're going to watch that trailer as well, which was actually pretty badass. So we're definitely going to check that out. No Garth Brooks for Dawson. I finally show up, and none of you fuckers say hello. Gillis 15. I did say hello. Gillis? I put your name in. You're a patron. I think you're still a patron. Or as Ryan would say, you're a Patreon.
You're a Patreon.
Patreon. It just sounds more prestigious.
It does. Patreon.
I like it.
If you're just a patron, you're a patron of anything.
Yeah. You sound lower when you're just a patron. When you're a Patreon, it sounds like it's got some
rung above.
Yeah, it's substantial. It's substantial. Very substantial. Now let's see. Now I'm going to go into the stream here, and Jacob, I know you wanted to be a mod, so I will go ahead and make you a mod, Jacob.
Ooh,
I thought you already were one. To be honest with you, look at what Gillis is in one as well. Oh my God,
Gillis is in one. Oh wow,
but he is now. Whether he likes it or not, he is one now.
Yeah, there you
Jacob,
go.
For some reason, I don't see you in the chat on YouTube. Say something, and then I'll make you a mod as well. Okay. So going back to our main topic, which is basically Wayne T. Carr as Green Lantern.
Green Lantern,
right?
Yeah.
And that was pretty big. So let's take a look at that again. Okay, so there it is. That was the one that he posted, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Andre Bushlakin. 187. I'll make you a mod because I think you're also a Niner fan too.
Oh, that's a reason not to be a mod, to be quite honest.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So this is the image that he put out. So yes, hashtag winning. Okay, so that was the image that he put out, right? And then there was this one that he put out, which was it's a dream. Thanks, or it wasn't a dream. Thanks, Zach. Right?
Yeah.
Hashtag make it happen. Hashtag Green Lantern John Stewart. Hashtag Driveway Production. And this was the image that Zach had posted on Vero. saying Driveway Productions. Now, if you notice this now, the funny thing about this post is that he doesn't say Green Lantern. He doesn't say, Zack Snyder's Green Lantern or Zack Snyder's Justice League. What does he say? All he says is Driveway Productions.
Make it happen. Hashtag make it happen is pretty damn generic. I mean, he wasn't, like Nicotina said, he wasn't boasting it. He wasn't like, just kind of rubbing it in people's face. He was just like, hey, this was the thing. It did happen. And it's not just, we're not just making it up. I mean, look how, young, Wayne looks in this photo. I mean, he's got the those young cheeks. Big young cheeks.
Fucking young cheeks.
Young cheeks. And what's funny about this picture too is that if you're able to zoom in, which I'm not able to from where I'm at, but he's standing on a box. So like he's off the ground. So
the mother box.
Okay. But I think what they were gonna do was they were gonna have him floating, unless they just want to make him taller.
Well, they didn't have a rig. Or anything, I don't see that there. So this is very, I don't want to say low tech, but just, it's very impromptu. They just like, hey, I have this idea. Come on over. Let's do this. This thing I want to do, and let's get you some pajamas. So yeah.
And I'm sure he would have floated down. Don't after they got done shooting this little bit right here, they would have put some CG,
Yeah,
he's not going to disappoint the fans and have Green Lantern just walk up. He comes out of a raft or some shit off the little lake.
A raft?
And he comes off. No, he would have floated down.
He comes out like in a canoe.
Yeah, he canoes up to the lake house. And
pontoon boat.
Yeah. Is this good fishing?
Yeah. No, he would have floated. They would have done some shit to where he.
What they would have done was they would have maneuvered the camera around, and then because he's floating, they would have just changed that in post to where it's not the camera that's moving, it's actually Wayne moving, and would have given it more of a 3D effect. So yeah, he's just sort of like kind of balancing on the box, and then they would have used that to make him look like he was floating.
That parking lot is becoming more of a legend by the day. Well, it's actually his driveway. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this would have been the angle, at least somewhat close to being the angle that we would have seen these two together talking to each other. Mm-hmm. Now, Ryan, when you watch this scene, I kind of felt like, when you watch the scene that Ben isn't talking to anybody.
Right,
right. He definitely shot the scene with nobody actually there. He's just like,
yeah. And it was the same thing with the.
It was almost like he was still sleeping.
Well, it was almost as if, to be honest, the way that Ben portrayed it, it was almost as if he was like just disinterested. Like you have these beings, right? Even Martian Manhunter, you have these beings that are flying. And yes, he's seen these kind of beings before, but it's something new. And he's like, I'd be like, holy shit, like what the hell is this? And how'd you find me? And I would have had maybe more questions, because he's a detective, but he was just like, all right, I just had a bad dream. I'm gonna go do something about that. I gotta take a leak. But I'll catch you later, if there's a sequel. So it kind of felt a little disconnected. And that's kind of the same thing, when you're not playing against or opposite of somebody else, you don't get that sort of interaction. Like when we have a conversation, we're engaging, we're talking with our hands or whatever. And you can actually really see like there's a genuine response between two people. Yeah. Like even in the nightmare sequence, when they were shooting that, they were shooting by themselves. So they were trying to they were not acting against someone else. So it's a little bit more different or a little bit more disconnected when you're thinking of in like dialogue terms. Like I need somebody to bounce off my conversation. Yeah. Versus just trying to fix it in the editing room. But I mean, hey, in this situation, I give it a pass because this is what Zach had to work with. This is all they would allow. So, yeah, I mean, it's the best he could do.
That's the best they can do. And this came off the heels of another big announcement. And guys, yes, as you probably guessed it's breaking news. And that is that Finn Wittrock has been cast as Guy Gardner in the HBO Max Green Lantern series.
Okay. See, now that this is the reason why Warner Brothers was justified in saying, no, we have plans for John. No, wait, I'm sorry, that's Guy Gardner. Never mind.
Guy Gardner. That's Guy Gardner. It's Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
But it's a multiverse, right?
It's a multiverse
when they want it to be.
Well, yeah, when it fits their needs, when it fits their narrative, it's a multiverse. Other than that, it's not a multiverse, and you can't play in my sandbox.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because when Warner Brothers saw, Wayne T. Carr as Green Lantern, I mean, their reaction was this:
not cool, not cool.
But when they saw Finn Wittrock being cast as Guy Gardner, I mean, their reaction was more like this.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
And so, I mean,
it's almost as if you were in the same room with Warner Brothers.
Yeah, were you?
It's like I was. So here we are. I mean, we see that Finn Wittrock. I'm not too familiar with this actor.
I'm not familiar with him at all.
I know that he had been fan casted as like Robin, I want to say, or Dick Grayson in the past, but I don't know who this guy is. I mean, anyone in the chat, if you're familiar with his work, I could probably look it up on IMDb. In fact, Anthony, would you mind looking that up on IMDb to see what Finn Wittrock has been up to?
American Horror Story is what he is popular for.
That's what okay, yeah. See,
and he's in a couple other movies, Unbroken, The Big Short, probably small roles because he's not even in the title card. Yeah, so he's been around, but he's most notably for the 1984. I don't watch American Horror Story, so
yeah, neither do I.
I don't watch it either.
To be honest, Bruce has seen so much in the past 20 years. I think a Martian would at least be the weirdest thing. Well, I mean, speaking of Martian, I mean, we're going to get a little more into this later on, but the episode in the show Invincible, when they go to Mars, and those little like squid things. Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
But I felt the same way though. I actually felt that in that scene, it felt a bit disjointed because I just didn't like his approach. Ben Affleck, he was just kind of like, he's like, I'm sorry, who are you? Instead of being like, who are you? Like kind of almost like, I don't know who you are.
Well, I don't think he would have stepped out of the bed and like, who are you?
No, but like, he could at least been like, and who are you? You know what I mean? Because like,
yeah.
Instead, he was just like, I'm sorry, who are you? Like, you really bother me right now.
Like, exactly. This is my team. And I haven't put out any, there's no we haven't had a draft, and you haven't submitted your resume. I'd like to read that. Of being care of the Batcave.
Yeah, he's like, I've already seen a Steppenwolf. This is nothing. Okay, this is nothing.
No, I think he's a bit jaded to all of that shit though. So that's that. It could have been a little bit different with the excuse me, who are you? But at the same time, he just woke up from a shitty nightmare. He's just like,
yeah, he did have a shitty nightmare where he died at the end of it. He's about to get lasered in the head. So that probably wasn't very fun.
But excuse me. And plus, I mean, I don't know. If he wants to try to be a badass with some dude who floated down to his house, he might get fucked up.
Yeah.
Yo, who the fuck are you, man? Done. He gets fucking.
And guys, if you can, everyone here in the chat, if you can do me a favor and smash that like button and hit the subscribe with the bell notification button, and also tweet out this link on social media. Let everybody know we're live. We're going to be talking with Uche Nwaneri later on in the show, and we're going to be joined by Ali Brooks a little bit later on as well. And right now we're talking about the Green Lantern. So, guys, let me ask you, and we'll start with Ryan. Ryan, do you think that we're ever going to see the Green Lantern footage?
Oh, the footage. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, if Zach has put this out, that means he's willing to share. And it just depends on how far they took it. Did it get into, did they do anything in post? Did they just key him out? Did they create, I mean, they made the Kilowog suit. They rendered that, did they also make, a fully CG render of his outfit as well? Did they key that? Did they composite that? Did they set it up? Did they animate it? I mean, there's a lot of questions. Like, did they spend all this time on this one shot just to go and be told no, just to be told Sorry, ain't gonna happen. And then spend that time again, with Martian Manhunter this time, and doing, I guess animating that character. So because that was also a CG model.
Yeah.
So I mean, it depends. It depends on how much time did they actually spend on Wayne before Warner Brothers put a stop to it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for all we know, the scene is done, but we don't.
I mean,
know.
It was shot in August, and
it was shot in August on his driveway.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it's. Well, I don't want to say completed like CGI and shit, but I think they got done shooting it though.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. Yeah, no, I'm talking about post. Right,
Okay,
they got the interaction, what the dialogue, what they wanted him to say, everything that he needed to shoot that day, he shot. Zack Snyder shot Wayne doing, and so Wayne was done.
Mm-hmm.
Did the post production CG group, did the artists actually get to not only get their hands on it, but render it out?
Right.
Because I mean, rendering takes a long time. You have to have a render farm and so, I mean, and they're working on
a render farm.
And so at that time, they had the whole film that they were working on, working with, Steppenwolf and even Martian Manhunter, all, and so many other shots, so many other scenes, that did they have all that time, just to, to make it available for Zach to present to everyone? Who knows? I mean, it might end up on the 4K Blu-ray, as an extra. Who knows?
It very well could be. And on top of that, I mean, look, he did drop a hint on what we could be seeing coming up, which is this right here. When he talks about, he had Naveen Shankar, who friend of mine, he says pretty much same dialogue or different. And Zach responded. He said pretty much the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in this scene, he would have said pretty much the same thing, but it would have been a little bit different. Obviously, he's a different character.
The delivery would have been a little bit different.
Call me Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, he wouldn't have said that.
But again, it was sort of an either or kind of thing, where it was, because Wayne and Harry both shot on the same day. They just didn't shoot at the same time because of COVID, protocols and whatever at his location, at his house. So it was the same dialogue, and you're not going to shoot two different actors saying the same thing or the same dialogue, because that would be redundant and stupid. So it was just sort of like, all right, if Green Lantern doesn't work, then Martian Manhunter will. But either way, I'm going to get my scene in the movie. And so that, he had to go and he had to at least give them, like a test of the interaction or whatever, and say, hey, this is what I want to do. And they're like, nah, okay, well, if you say no to that, then I want this. And then also, I can just use a different character. And they're like, okay, well, they approved the other character. He's like, well, that's great, because I already shot that shit too. So that's probably how it went down.
Yeah.
And plus, he already had the scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were probably like, they couldn't say no to Martian Manhunter, but then let Martha just straight up turn into Martian Manhunter. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like,
they're like, oh, here
that's cool at that time, but you can't use him either. And he'd be like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, take that scene out. Well, everyone knows about that scene.
Yeah. Well, and also,
they do, don't they?
Harry was already a part of the cast. See, Wayne wasn't.
Yeah.
And they might have been like, well, then they might get into some legal reasons or whatever as to why they can't, why Zach's not able to use him, even if he doesn't take any pay for it. There might have been something else going on. They were like, you've already used Harry. If you want to use Harry here, go right ahead. We'll approve that. But this extra actor, sorry, that's a no-fly zone.
It's a no-fly zone. But he did also mention in another comment that he has an awesome still that he wants to show, or a rad still. I think I have it on here. Let me see. Is it in here? I don't know where it's at, but still, yeah.
I think we'll see an image. Footage wise, even if he finished it, he'll probably get the fucking brake suit off of him if he shows that.
Yeah. I mean, the only good thing about them not including this scene is that they wanted to have a practical suit. This forced them to not have a practical suit. So therefore, if they are approved to continue on with the storyline, they would create a practical suit and then therefore they don't have to match the practical suit with this CG rendering.
Mhm.
Yes.
So that's the only silver lining to not having Wayne in the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
Well, but still, I mean, even if the suit was CG, I still want to see the scene.
Oh no, but I think if he does release some kind of image with like a finished suit, and obviously it'll be CG because he's got on the fucking pajamas.
Yeah,
I think it'll be made to where they
fucking pajamas.
You know what I mean? To where
Yeah.
they could practically make. They're not going to make it glow like Ryan Reynolds.
right.
They're going to make it so that it can be made at some point, and then.
I think they'll go the route of like, what they did for Tron, those outfits there that sort of self-illuminated.
Yeah.
That would be more along the lines of what they would sort of the technology, because it was still a tight suit, and they could move around and do whatever. But they did have those light panels on them that glowed and that sort of like contoured their bodies and all that. And I think that's what they would do. I would also like to see the scene, with Wayne, because I'd like to see his performance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Now, Ryan has a good point here. Ryan Rivera, that is. Didn't the original scene with Ben have green lights all around him? And that's something that what's his face? Kevin Smith had said that they had that the production team said yes. They had green lights on him because it was supposed to be Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they definitely had filmed that scene before, knowing that they were going to have a Green Lantern. Maybe they had to change up the scene, or the fact of the matter is that we know that they filmed the scene. Obviously, we can see it right here. Yeah. I just hope we get to see that still. Now, I think that is the ultimate, or that is the next card he will play if he has to, is that he will drop the still of that scene. Now, we've already seen, Wayne T. Carr in front of the green screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if he, in my opinion, if he drops the still of this scene and we get to see what his suit looked like, then at that point, I don't get how you cannot eventually release that scene. And then if you release the scene, is it just a deleted scene? Is it canon? Or is it just separate from everything else?
Well, it'd have to just be a scene.
Yeah,
because the movie, the canon scene is Martian Manhunter. So
right.
So if they release that scene, it'll just be like
it's an additional
check out this fire Easter egg. This is cool as fuck. And we'll all be like, oh shit, it is cool. But then it's not going to be the canon and stuff. I think also too, one of the other reasons I think is that Zack tends to, and we're Zack Snyder fans, so we've been around his work for a while. He likes to. The way he casts these characters, every now and again he's going to cast a Ben Affleck, but most of the time he's going to find a diamond in the rough for his.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers probably looked at Wayne T. Carr and said, "Nah."
Yeah, they're like, "Who's this guy? He's no Flint Whitrocker or whatever that guy's name."
Yeah,
Flint Whitrock. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, if that Green Lantern show was actually going to be a movie, they wouldn't have cast that dude as Guy Gardner.
It would have been a headliner.
Yeah,
a headliner.
They probably looked at who he picked to be his Green Lantern, even though they knew damn well they weren't going to use him in the near future. They were like, that dude's not a big enough star to cast.
They're like, call up Ryan Reynolds. What is he doing now?
We need to have
no disrespect to Wayne, because I'm sure he did a fire job. I'm just saying, Warner Brothers probably looked at it like, that dude's not a big enough name to cast, especially when everybody's fan castings is just like it's the biggest names you probably think of.
Right. I mean, that's the first thing that a lot of people go to, when they're fan casting is somebody just like Tom Cruise for Hal Jordan, what?
Yeah, well, hold on a minute. Yeah, exactly. I think the JL suit looks similar to the one in the history lesson. Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, we got to see a little bit of it on what's it called, on Kilowog. Kilowog and Tomar Ray Lake House scene. I remember the Whispers. That was another variation of the scene as well. Is that it was going to have Kilowog and Tomar Ray. Now, if I remember correctly, what I've heard is that's what Jeff Johns wanted. was a Kilowog Tomar Racing because he wanted to have his own green. He wanted to be able to cast and kind of build up his own Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
But we saw in the storyboards that the initial idea was that it was going to be Hal Jordan, and they never outright said his name in the storyboards. Never said Hal or Hal Jordan. But I mean, Ryan or Anthony, I mean, you know as well as I do, that was Hal Jordan.
Originally, the original lantern that Jim Lee was drawing and putting in there and they were alluding to was Hal. Yeah. But that's not to say that John, isn't, just as important or couldn't be used or whatever. And that's why I like when Zach said, when somebody asked Zach, hey, is Hal Jordan, here or somewhere else? And he was like, he's somewhere else. It just acknowledged that Hal Jordan is in the universe, right? It doesn't mean that Hal Jordan is the one that he wanted to use here on Earth for the first interaction or whatever, but it does mean that this character exists. John Stewart exists. All these things exist, and let's just hopefully finally see it play out, What happened?
I'm just laughing at in the comments. Go ahead.
Oh,
no. And so here's a look at at the Kilowog image.
Yeah.
That Zach had. Well, I guess it wasn't Zach. It was what's his name?
Yeah, I can't remember dude's name, man. He's
they call him what they call him, Joey Moretz or
Joey Moretz.
Yeah.
Joe Moretz. So this is the image that this was the concept art, but this kind of shows you what the suit would have looked like. Obviously it's a very sleek, kind of thin suit, but it has kind of like a tech look to it.
Yeah.
And I like how it just. Well, I mean, this is hard to tell because this is obviously just a totally
shoulder profile. Yeah.
But I like Kilowog. I like how he looked in this. This iteration,
he looks great. I think he looks better here than he did in the Green Lantern movie.
Yes, in the Green Lantern movie,
I love Michael Clark Duncan though. I'm sorry, it sucks that he's not with us, but he is my Kilowog.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome,
but this looks better.
Yeah,
this looks more comic book accurate for a Kilowog than the other one that they gave us.
That suit is dope, Aaron. I agree. I think it is dope.
Yeah,
and I think that looks pretty badass. And I just wish that we could have saw it in live action.
Well, we did. We did see the suit in live action when it was panning over the dead Kilowog. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was laying there like. And here's my point with that too: is that if the scene, let's say they went with the John Stewart scene, let's say that scene was supposed to include Kilowog, there would be a direct connection to that nightmare scene where we saw a dead Kilowog. So you go, oh, that's the guy that we saw, and that's for anyone who didn't know who they were, they'd be like, oh, that's the guy we saw in the scene. He was dead with the chest blown out. That was Kilowog, or that was that big, humongous guy that's behind John Stewart.
Yep,
he got rocked. He probably got lasered to the chest, like
blew his chest out. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he got all blown out. The mask looks weird. Okay, Jared Morantz, thank you, Ryan. I know we were a little off on that one. Superman blew his chest out. Yes, he did. I would imagine it was him. He's the only one that was attacking. I don't think a parademon could have done that. But so that was pretty cool.
Green Lantern.
I know, right? The parademon blew his chest out. Like, oh, damn.
Jesus.
These guys they're not that good. And then there was this right here that was pretty cool. So this is from DCU Direct. Let me pull this up. Now, this was a newly released Snyder Cut concept art reveals an unused design for an armored and winged parademons. Did you guys see this?
I did not.
Okay, let's pull this up real quick. Let's also welcome Allie to the show. What's going on, Allie?
Hey,
what's up? Oh,
I still do it sometimes.
She's like, it's gonna be huge.
And then she's like, Sam, I want to ask you a question. So I'm talking with Sam Benjamin. Now, Sam, he's like, oh,
I felt that all the way over here.
Over here. You knocked my tea over.
You knocked my tea. And biscuits.
Crumpets. Okay, here we go. Everyone's like, Allie, hey, Allie.
Excuse me while I go to the loo.
The lube. Okay, so this website is full of ads. I'm making the money right now.
Bro, let me get that street taco pizza though.
Street taco pizza.
Damn,
Street taco pizza.
Where's that at?
Oh,
Round table.
Oh,
what? I don't know what round table is. We don't have that here.
You guys don't have Round Table in Texas. Round Table's bomb. It's so good.
I've never heard of that place. No, or
Never heard
I've never heard of it either. Never heard of it either.
It's really, really good. It's super expensive though, but it's really good.
No, we have something called Mod Pizza.
Mod Pizza is totally different.
I've never been there either.
It's super fast.
I don't think we have it here. I've never. Doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, so here's
you must be close to the Panhandle. No.
Well, close to the. I'm on the border.
She's on a border town.
Yeah.
And for Allie, every day for Allie is like that movie Sicario.
He's not.
Sorry, Allie, I'm waiting on it, and when it finally happens, it's gonna fucking destroy me. She's gonna be like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Shut the fuck up!
And then if I do, oh my god, you guys are gonna have like a recorded clip of it.
Oh yeah,
you guys are gonna be.
It's gonna be a drop. Yeah. Every time.
Yeah. No, and we won't hear her anymore because she will have knocked the shit out of her microphone and broke it.
I'll blow it out.
You do have Peter Piper pizza though, don't you?
Oh my god, yes, thank God.
What the hell is what's Peter Piper pizza?
It's
that?
like
that
like
was
Peter
like
Pan?
back when I was a kid.
It's so good.
God, it's good, dude.
The pizza is the bomb.
It's like a buffet. A pizza.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So
It's
you
kind
go
of like
in there and you get yourself
kind of like CC's.
kids parties and stuff happen there and all that.
Do
Yeah.
not put it in the same category as CC's though.
CC's is garbage.
CC's is garbage. I know because my son used to work for CC's Pizza, and we never got free pizza. I'll tell you.
Brian's like, I'm more of a hometown buffet kind of guy.
He's like, I could bring some pizza. We're like, no, we're good. We're gonna get some Domino's.
Domino's. Yeah, see, Barcy knows Round Table is good but expensive. So Round Table is kind of pizza where you order, like, let's say you order extra large pepperoni pizza. That's gonna be like, it's gonna be like $28, $30
for one.
But it's so good. It's
for
like
one.
For one, it's super expensive.
That is.
It's always been that way. It's always just been like super, super expensive, but it's so good. It's so good. Peter Piper Pizza went out of business out here. Yeah, because he's here in California.
And they went out of business over where I am, and
we
lost Showbiz Pizza because
she's like, I'm driving. Hey everyone, because he's like shooting in the passenger seat. He's got the mask on. He's like, yo, what's up? She's like, Round Table is good. It's really, really good. It really is. But Me Ed's is the best. Me and Ed's? What's Me and Ed's?
Either.
I've never heard of that one.
No,
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. Okay, so this is the armored parademon that you're talking
from
about.
pizza, let's go to parademon.
So from pizza, let's go to the parademons. Here we go. Breaking news, guys. Okay, so we got armored parademons flying at you here. He says, I did an early pass at the parademons for Justice League that had wings and armor similar to that of Steppenwolf's armor. This was a concept of how the wings would fold up. Okay.
Oh, cool.
I've always thought it was really a fun piece. Okay, so this never made it past the concept art. And I guess this is the back of the parademon.
Where's its head? I don't.
Well, its head.
Right there.
Its head's somewhere over here.
Is that the head? The little thing?
This is the back of the head right
here. It looks
here.
like a Goomba from Super Mario Brothers.
So I feel like those are, you can't really see their head in this picture.
Yeah, you can't.
It's
just it's the back.
But imagine it's
See, there's the hands,
yeah.
you know. So it's kind of cool, you know. I thought it
looks like a dress.
It's
it does. It's a little too much.
A wedding dress for a Steppenwolf.
Put this on, bitch.
Does he look like a bitch?
it's like how much can I take? This is so humiliating.
That one always makes me laugh. Like no matter what you use it for.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, if Allie were to have met up with us over in
Dallas
and Houston or Dallas,
she'd come to
what have you?
She chastised us.
Are any of those locations closer to you, Dallas or Houston? They're not, right?
I think Houston's further away from her.
It's further away.
Dude, everything in Texas is 10 hours from El Paso.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we're far from everything.
Yeah, trust me, I was stationed there.
We're closer to like the West Coast. I'm closer to you, Nicotina.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
What part of California do you live in?
I'm pretty far away. I'm in Northern California, so
okay. Well,
I'm way the fuck up there.
I could probably be to Disneyland before I could be to
Ryan.
Wow, are you that close? Oh shit. Well, that's pretty cool. But I'm telling you, if we ever met up with Allie, we pissed her off so bad in real life. She'd have a blow up just like this. All of a sudden, we'd be talking, and she'd be trying to give her opinion. I'd be like, "Yeah, but here's the thing: is that," and we start talking over her, and all of a sudden, she'd be like, "This."
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
and we'd all get real quiet.
Yeah, we just quiet.
Then she'd be like, "Now let me ask you a question."
Does he look like a bitch?
And that was right in the background.
Does he look like a bitch?
It'd be nothing but yes,
what
ma'am,
does
no ma'am.
Wallace look like?
Yeah. Her husband's like, hey, y'all.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Chill out.
He's like,
hey, it worked.
crazy.
Hey, she's like this. She's like, so you know what, guys? I swear to God, you pissed me off. She has a gun, like, just puts it on the table.
Okay, wow. Now you're making me violent. Thanks a lot.
Because I remember what I said is that in El Paso, it's like Sicario. There's like Humvees and machine guns.
Or it's kind of like Mad Max, you know, they got the cars.
That's ridiculous.
She's like, what a lovely day! Immortal Joe. Anyway, okay, so that's the armored parademon. Now, earlier we were talking about this. We were talking about Wayne T. Carr and all that. And that was pretty cool. I mean, Allie, did you have anything you wanted to add about Wayne T. Carr?
I mean, I hope that he got to see what he shot with Zach, because I know on Lightcast he said he hadn't seen it at that time. I think it'd probably be bittersweet for him to see it, but like I hope for himself he gets to see it, and then I hope one day soon Zach just like drops it on Vero.
Yeah.
Allie could bench press us combined and not even break a sweat. She could probably leg press me. I'm like,
She'd probably come in like Gal Gadot in the Justice League and beat the shit out of us, like all those.
Hey, on the leg press, you can do heavy weight.
Hey. She would throw me, catch me, then throw me against the wall.
It's my favorite. I love that.
Okay, so moving right along now. This was the next big thing that went down, and here it is, DC fandom, you guys. And of course,
better mute it, Katina. You're gonna get taken down.
Yeah,
I know.
That John Williams theme, they will fucking clap your cheeks for that shit.
And so my point is though, is that did you guys hear that again?
Was it over?
Oh, you know what? No, I gotta mute it right here. So this is it right here, and
okay.
Yes, it plays the John Williams theme. I feel like once again they're trying to appeal to nostalgia. You know, like, hey guys, yeah. I mean, but instead of playing the Man of Steel theme, they went back to the John Williams theme.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did the same thing for Sasha, right? They brought out the Man of Steel outfit, but they played the John Williams theme.
They did. And now Rosh is saying fandom, pass. I mean, guys, do you think that we're going to get anything?
Nope.
Yeah, some Black Adam.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get Black Adam, and we'll get an update on Shazam
and the Batman.
Yeah, that, but I'm excited about the Black Adam.
There I am. I replied. I said, "Faith, Alfred, Faith."
And they were like,
yeah,
and they were like, and blocked.
Oh, look, there he is, Ryan. I'll be busy washing my hair. I'll be busy washing my hair.
That's very specific.
it's coming out on the 16th. Now, guys, it is something that I had brought up recently was that, Zach has said numerous times that he would love to do another SnyderCon, and I've heard people talking about that he wants to do it around October. And if that's the case,
exactly,
that happens to be in October 10/16.
I think it's strategic. I think just like the Justice Con last year's when it was competing with San Diego Comic-Con, I think he's going to say, you know what? I did this to San Diego Comic-Con. I made them look like shit. And then what he's going to do for fandom is he's going to make fandom look like shit.
He is. He's going to be like, hey, I'm going to make this day all about myself. And no one's going to watch. People are going to watch fandom, but all of us hardcore Snyder fans are going to watch SnyderCon. Yeah. And if I get a chance to buy tickets to it, I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to go to it. Hopefully, that is a possibility, but you never know. Yeah, and as Ryan says, it's hashtag trashdom, trashdom, trashdom. So that was DC fandom. I mean, Anthony, are you excited for DC fandom? I mean, obviously, yes, we're going to see Black Adam.
Footage from Black Adam. That's all.
Because I mean, I know in Black Adam. Go ahead.
I'll find out what time that panel is, and that's where I'll be tuned into. So.
But I mean, we're gonna get the Batman and Suicide Squad would have already come out. Mm-hmm. So the major properties that they're gonna be pushing are Black Adam and Batman.
Yeah, when does the Batman come out?
Next year.
Next year. I have no idea.
I think it's March.
Yeah, it's like March of next year. They pushed it off. Okay. So we're going to see the Batman. We're going to see Black Adam, Aquaman.
Probably more. Won't get another trailer for the Batman till then.
Yeah,
and say that.
Well, yeah, and Aquaman 2, and then Shazam 2. Yeah, and that's it. That's their properties.
Heard nothing like you'd mentioned it. Aquaman, like we haven't heard shit from Aquaman. That bitch made $1 billion, and they don't care. They're like. Yeah, Jason likes Zach, so we're not going to go forward with that.
They're filming, though.
Yeah, they're going to film.
Really, they are? They're filming Aquaman 2?
What else did they start filming?
I never heard that they were filming
Didn't Amber Heard was posting pictures?
Oh, The Flash. You'll see something from The Flash, probably.
Where is that?
The Flash. I need to see that. That's true, Anthony.
I don't follow
we will see The Flash.
Yeah.
Amber.
Allie just dropped a new video, guys, so definitely check that out.
Oh my god, yeah.
There you go.
My stupid editor hasn't been working. I finally got it to work.
Oh, she did.
Your editor. Okay, did you fire her for that?
My video editor.
Yeah.
Software.
It's her husband. He's like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get it to work. I have to do it on the phone.
Everybody sounds the same when Nicotina does their voice. Like, yo, dude, what the
hey, so do Zack Snyder. Hey, it's me, Zack Snyder.
So, then there was. Hey, let's. They're out of here. Okay, no. So this was another one. Okay, so this was Ray Porter. He said, "I agree, they crossed the line," because Zach said that they crossed the line with this. And this was that Justice League 4K trailer that recently released. And I want to say now it's up to like 92,000 dislikes.
Probably.
I disliked it.
I hope it freaking breaks a record.
And this really got everyone fired up when he said they crossed the line. Mm-hmm. And they did. There's Dave Avery. It's so pathetic at this point. And he was going off too. It really was. I mean, I don't understand the point of releasing this trailer the way they did. Ryan, you were saying that you thought that this was more of them saying, hey, we're moving on.
Well, what I think that they did here was just like, guys, they don't really care about Zack Snyder's Justice League. They just care about Justice League by itself. So let's put a Justice League trailer out and just watch that shit blow up, guys. We can't lose. And they're like,
you know what's sad? You know what's sad is that they'll release that. We'll know. They'll release that shit on physical copies, 4K. Motherfuckers will buy it thinking it's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Right. They'll buy it. They'll buy it. They'll buy it. Oh, they'll go to Target and be like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they'll buy it, and it won't be Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I don't have HBO Max. They got this out right now. Let me buy that. And
they'll think it's the same shit when it's
that's what I think they're trying to do. I think they're trying to confuse like general casual viewers.
Yeah.
We can't lose.
We can't lose.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if a grandparent or whoever who wasn't really a big fan, they went to the store and they said, "Oh yeah, my son was really into this thing called Justice League," and they see that Justice League 4K Blu-ray, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's the one he wants, so I'm gonna buy it for him." And in reality, it's not even like,
does it look like a bitch?
Hey, Grandma, let me ask you a question.
Does he look like a bitch?
His eyes.
No.
And that'll be what they said.
And so I hope that thing just, I don't know. I never want to see it again. But the last topic that we're going to talk about tonight is going to be a show that recently finished its first season and has actually been announced for seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And that is Invincible.
Yeah.
Anthony, tell us about Invincible. I mean, this show is pretty badass.
Yeah, the show is fucking fire, and fight me. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, I know.
If
you haven't finished it, you're not a fan. Fuck that shit. I mean, I'm telling you, if you haven't watched the finale, like, dude, you're fucking nuts. So everybody on the panel, I know we've all seen it, right?
That's right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, I really like the cast a lot. And
I think it's I haven't read the books. Obviously, that's I think I'm gonna grab them so I can read them on the plane to Houston and shit in a couple weeks because I really want to read it now that and I've also been told by people who have read it that it's almost spot on from like the first few, I guess the first issues up in the series. Like you just said, the voice acting is fire. It's so everybody picked the action in it, the way that it makes it seem one way, and the next thing you know, like spoilers, like motherfuckers get killed. People get destroyed on this show.
Oh yeah,
and it's not pretty. It's disgusting.
It's pretty. It's pretty. I mean, okay. So that's my only. If I had to have a gripe about this show, that's the only thing I would gripe about is that it's maybe a little too much. Like it's just graphic for graphic.
No, it's really good.
I thought about that too, especially with the subway scene on the last episode, and I thought
subway scene was like that was pretty dope.
Yeah, but at the same time, but I thought, you know what though? I think it's one of those things like The Boys where they're just like, if superheroes really existed,
People,
there would be so much collateral damage. There would be so much collateral damage. It'd be ridiculous.
Oh, sure, yeah. And I agree with that. I just think it's like some of the stuff, like I'm down with a lot of it, like, but some of the stuff is like, oh damn, that's a little too much. Like,
you know what I liked was when the Martians first showed up I think they're Invincible. When those aliens first showed up from the future.
Spoilers. Some people
I mean, this is not going to give away the ending at all. I'm saying this is just part of the story
because you know the ending, right?
I know the ending. And so there's an old lady who's laying there and she's about to get shot. And he was like, oh no. And he flies over there. He grabs her. And he's like, I got you. He's getting shot at. He's like, oh no. And he crashes. And he looks over, her legs all tore up and everything. He's like, oh my God. He's like, he's got her blood all over. And I like that because when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's true. Like it wouldn't be that clean. Like people would get fucked up. I mean, especially if you landed in a crater, that old lady's gonna get tore apart. Invincible is fire. I totally agree. It's a very fun show to watch. I thought the first episode was kind of slow. I wasn't sure where it was going.
Yeah,
I was
like, the end of it, dude. Fucking
I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. I dug it.
It's
the Guardians got a little bruised up. Let's put it that way.
I was hooked. I was like, my God. And I was glad that I wasn't familiar with like anything to do with the show. Like the comics and stuff. I was glad that I didn't know what to expect or like how it was going to go because it completely caught me off guard. And I was like, wait, no, there has to be a reason why he's doing this. Like he's being controlled. There's something wrong with him.
Yeah. Well,
then it just keeps going.
I don't want to give away the ending yet because
because you know it.
I haven't seen the ending. Because I know the ending, yes. But still, some fans haven't seen it yet, so I just want to give them a little more time. But I like Omni-Man. Like, and I think that J.K. Simmons does a good job with the voice.
Immediately,
as
soon as he spoke for the first time, I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't even know he was in it, man. But like Ali was saying, really happy that I was not familiar with the source material.
Yeah, I love that he had the mustache because the last time I saw him was, I mean, of course, as J. Jonah Jameson or even Gordon.
Yeah.
He's got the mustache, and I was like, dude, that's so fitting.
Like,
Barcy, you got to watch the show, Barcy.
Yeah,
definitely watch the show.
If the first episode doesn't get you, I don't know what to say. That the ending of it, the episode moves along fine, but the ending of that first episode, I was actually like laying in bed watching it. Up until that, when I sat up, I was like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
dude, this is gonna be some shit." So yeah, it's. I love it. I can't wait. I hope it doesn't take them too long.
Even the fight against what's his name, Machine Head. The guy with that robotic head.
Which one?
Have you seen
Invincible?
The show?
Yes. When they fight against,
isn't that isn't that a Bush song?
No, that's actually a band named Machine Head, but that's
no, there is a Bush song called Machine
there's
Head.
a Bush song
there
called
is. But there's a bad guy that he goes against. He's like a gang leader, and he has like a
he's stone.
Yeah.
He turned himself into stone.
Yeah,
no,
the other
that's
guy
the guy that took over.
The guy that was
He put the SD card in his shit.
The SD card.
Yeah.
It was dude.
Yeah,
I can't believe
the Intel processor in his head.
Yeah,
and but that fight scene, I mean, that was really gruesome, and I was a little worried. I was like, damn, I think someone's gonna die here. So that was pretty brutal.
No,
and
anybody out there who hasn't seen it, it's worth a watch.
Yeah. I mean, if you like Zack Snyder's Justice League, if you like The Boys, you are going to love Invincible.
Yeah.
I actually thought, as much as I like The Boys, I actually thought it was better that this show was animated because I felt like they were able to do more with the characters. If it was in live action, they had to,
with The Boys, they have to adapt. They can't do certain things, because of either budget or, story changing or whatever it is, but this one's, from what I've heard, it's staying completely true to what the comic book. And that's why I can't wait for everything else to happen. And let's talk a little bit about the epilogue, man. What'd you think about the epilogue, Andre? You thought that was fire?
I'll let you talk about that. I'm not going to give away anything.
I'm just messing with you. Anthony knows what to do.
Does he look like a bitch?
It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. It sets up pretty well.
Yeah. I hope that since it's animated, I hope like the next season is not too far away.
Yeah, I don't want to.
And I'm glad they announced 2 more seasons, not just season 2. Like that's a given that it should get a season 2.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're like season 2 and 3. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I like it. The animation style was tight. Everything about it. I can find like the relationships in the show. Like everything just worked together so well. I can't really find a thing where I'd be like, yeah, don't watch it because it's
no. Highly recommend it for sure. And I like how like the episodes are dropped early on Thursday. Like you don't have to wait till for me they're early. I mean, they're like it's not late at night or anything like that. So you don't have to wait. So
again, if you love The Boys, this is definitely it's a must watch. It's a must watch because you're not going to be disappointed.
It's a lot more violent than The Boys.
It is.
And people who are not really that much into like
you're like damn
who are not really into like animated. This is good. It's almost like watching it. You can almost see it being live action. Just because the way it's shot, it's shot like a movie.
It has some really interesting concepts and really interesting, superheroes developed, like their powers and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I like it.
And I think it also proves, like going back to Warner Brothers, it proves them wrong in thinking that they don't think that there's like an audience for like darker, what people want out of superhero movies or shows. They think that everyone just wants, happy and jokes and, everything's fine.
They're looking for the money.
This is not that.
Right.
Like, this is very not that.
They're looking to like, okay, that's like part of the problem that people want is like, okay, how can we make this R-rated movie more like PG or PG-13? Because you can sell more tickets for PG and PG-13, and you can get the parents can will buy into it for their kids, and in all this, and that's sort of what they're going for. They're like, man, you know, I don't want to Marvel-esque this thing, but how do we make it more like Marvel?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this is very adult, this is very mature, but there's an audience for it. You know, there's people who want to explore, okay, this is basically Superman, but like if he, you know, chose to be this instead of what we know him to be, like there's people who want to see that possibility. Like, what if he was this way?
Imagine if
the
Superman
most overpowered being. What if he was this way? People want. I mean, there's an audience for stuff like that and stuff that's a little darker or more shocking, or you know,
well, I mean,
not just sugar coated.
Think about Henry Cavill's though. His performance as Superman, right? And people are like, he's too dark, he's too dark. And then you turn on Omni-Man. You're like,
I want him as a live action Omni-Man tomorrow.
Maybe he ain't so dark after all.
Maybe he's not so dark.
Maybe he was a little full of hope.
Exactly,
And guys, before we move on to our second hour of the show, I know Anthony, I know that you had to get going because you have some things that you got to do. So Anthony, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next week.
Yes,
and on the Four Nerds Thursday on the Four Nerds with the movie with the movie buffs because the buffs
Gotta get jacked.
They're buffed.
All right.
Yeah.
Later.
And just for Anthony, we're just gonna drop this because this is his catchphrase.
It's fire.
And he is out of here. Now, guys, I want to welcome our special guest of the day. He is a former NFL offensive lineman of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He played in the NFL, which is an amazing feat. We just recently had the NFL draft, so I'm definitely going to ask him about that because he got drafted, and it's like I can only imagine what that felt like. And he's also a huge Zack Snyder fan. Please welcome the legendary Uche to the show. What's going on, Uche?
What's going on, man? Legendary.
Legendary.
Don't put me up there yet. Not yet. YouTube.
Not yet. So Uche, tell me, man. I mean, look, we just had the NFL draft, and I know some of the viewers aren't huge sports fans. I am, and you got drafted. So I mean, what is that like when you get the call from a team and they're like, "Hey, let's do this"?
I mean, you know, really, it's like you go into shock almost. I mean, I was just on the phone. I'm not so sure I actually heard what the head coach Jack Del Rio was saying when he was talking to me, but the only thing that I could make out was, "Are you ready to be a Jacksonville Jaguar?" And I was just like, "Hell yeah!" You know, so it's exciting, right? Like dream come true.
He's like, get back with me. I gotta eat a pizza.
Yeah, well, I mean, as soon as we got off the phone, like my entire family, the entire house, fanboyed out. So I mean, that's kind of how it goes down for everybody. I'm pretty sure.
And I mean, you came from or you played at Purdue, and what I didn't know was that they do pretty extensive background and paperwork and all kinds of stuff that you have to do going into the draft. And you had that from multiple teams. Is that right?
Yeah. I interviewed with 22 or 24 teams. I forget. Interviewed with like 24 teams, and then like the week of the draft, I was on the phone every day with Kansas City Chiefs and Atlanta Falcons, talked to the Chicago Bears, and then they actually had me do like FBI background checks. So I had to sign paperwork that they would fax to me. I'd sign it and email it back, and they do a pretty thorough check on your entire life before you get drafted. So
and there's still a lot of players. There's a lot of players that get in the league and they still have problems or they have issues that they kind of brought with them, and they just can't shake that, you know?
Yeah, you know, it happens. It's a small percentage of players compared to the overall population.
It's true. That's true.
Guys, but there's always, a certain small group that may get in trouble throughout the course of their careers. Some of them do, they get in trouble and then they figure it out and they start handling their responsibilities better, and some of them just can't seem to get over the hump. So can play out both ways. So
let me ask you. So the NFL draft it happened this past weekend, and obviously, look, I mean, can you imagine being the number one draft pick? I mean, it's like everyone knew they were going to take that guy. from Clemson.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that. And then basically the first 2 picks, everyone knew, okay, it's going to be these 2 quarterbacks. But in the third pick, we didn't know who it was going to be. And I'm a huge Niner fan, so I was hoping that it was Trey Lance, and it was.
Yeah.
And I think he's got some incredible abilities, and he's going to be really good in the future coming up.
Yeah, he has a little Patrick Mahomes in him.
Yes, definitely does. Now, Uche, you're also a huge Zack Snyder fan, is that right?
That's correct.
And so I wanted to ask you, because now that the movie has come out, what did you think of Zack Snyder's Justice League?
I thought it was an excellent movie. I thought it was a very grandiose epic. I guess if I had to give it a score, I'd give it a 9 out of 10, just because, I mean, it's not 100% perfect. And just like, this is the complete version, right? Nothing's been touched. This is his entire vision, a little bit added on for the epilogue, but this is his entire vision. So of course, if you were to kind of like rewind the clock back and say, okay, if we're going to bring this movie to the theaters, it's probably going to be like 3 hours, 15, maybe 3 hours and 3.5 hours at the most. If you're like letting him get his vision out, trim a little bit of the fat, but keep your vision intact, put it out to the people. We'll take shorter viewings for more, for higher reviews, for higher or better reception. Then, that would probably be the 10 out of 10 version of this movie. But, I definitely feel like it is a movie that should have very much been released in theaters. That probably would have changed the trajectory of the DCEU, because as we see now, the film was probably ahead of its time, even to a certain extent, because
definitely
in 2021 we love this movie. Who knows if that's the same case in 2017? I've always been of the opinion that the DCEU shouldn't have started until 2017. And that's when they should have brought out Man of Steel and then started going down from there, because they're already 8 movies behind the MCU when Man of Steel came out. They should have just allowed the MCU to finish its first phase, or finish that the Infinity Saga, and then start the DCEU from there. That way they kind of have their chance to kind of start their own lane instead of trying to catch on to the wave that the MCU had already behind it when they started doing their own movies. So that's my whole like DCEU perspective. It was ahead of its time.
No, and it really was. I mean, when you look at the films like Man of Steel and BVS, especially BVS, I thought that was well ahead of its time. That nobody really understood the gravity of that movie. And then now when they watch it, when fans watch it, they go, "Oh, this is great. This is badass." Because I think that shows, TV shows similar, like The Boys. Now you have Invincible. I think people are realizing, like, that's kind of what I want to see.
The more nuanced, violent, more adult natured, comic book movie. That came after this entire, after the Zack Snyder era of
the consequences.
But also it was actually good that it came out in 2013, because it's allowed a lot more people to sort of grow into it and sort of like be acclimated to it, and like, oh, okay, I get it now. I didn't get it then, but after multiple viewings, it's like BVS, Man of Steel, now Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's like the more times you watch it, the more times you digest it, the more you get out of it, and then the more that you can say. And I was listening to somebody today, I forgot who it was, but it's like these movies here are still in conversation. They're still being talked about. They're still being, water cooler.
We're talking about it right now.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? That's crazy. Like BVS has been talked about since it came out, and I think that says something to the staying power of the Snyderverse and its movies being more, more layered, more complex. Epics.
Who's talking about Birds of Prey?
Exactly. Right? Who's talking about even Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, the first Avengers? Nobody's talking about those movies anymore.
Yeah. But we're still talking about BVS, and we're still talking about Man of Steel.
Yeah. But then here comes WB, and they want to go backwards. Oh, we want to do what Marvel was doing when they started their universe. And it's like they're moving away from that now. Yeah. I mean, they're still going to be Marvel. They're still going to do what they do. You know what to expect when you're watching a Marvel movie. But I mean, what they're doing with their series and like you said, Invincible, those kind of things are showing that like you don't have to just go. There's more than one way to portray superhero movies. You know, and DC is not Marvel, so they shouldn't be trying to do the same thing. I don't think any franchise should try to copy what Marvel does. You know,
everybody can find their own lane in this.
Find your own thing. Yeah. What you're good at, what people respond to, stick with that. Marvel does what they do and they're good at it. And like, I don't think anyone else should try to, even with the Mortal Kombat movie, they said that's the first thing they thought of. What?
Mortal Kombat.
You know, so it's
I'm
like,
sorry, but
Mortal Kombat's looking like it's going to turn out to be a flop, dare I say?
Well, it dropped how much? Like
73%. 73%.
Yeah. Well, see, I have yet to see it. I haven't seen it yet. My sons watched it and they were like, "Dad, don't watch this thing." They were like, "I'm sorry, the action is cool, but the story is stupid."
Mortal Kombat became a Justice League film. It really did. It really did. Now, no, don't get me wrong. In Mortal Kombat, the fight scenes and the special effects were dope. I was like, hey, these are cool. But everything else, I'm sorry. And I know there's some fans of Mortal Kombat out there, but I thought it was garbage. Like,
I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan, and I was just like, I'm like one step away from calling it garbage just because I'm a Mortal Kombat fan, and I'm like, man, you know, they did get Kung Lao, and I can see what they were going for.
And he came out of the ground.
Gosh, it just didn't have any substance. None whatsoever.
Oh, there he is. Okay, there he is. He's here.
You know what thing too with video game movies, they never do well. Like they're never successful.
Traditionally,
most of the time they're not.
Sonic the Hedgehog was actually the first truly successful
I like Sonic
video game movie.
Yeah,
I do like Sonic.
I mean, Detective Pikachu
like
wasn't
Assassin's
that bad.
Creed and like these. I mean, like these big games that are like, you know, they have like a huge audience. The movies are just not like amazing.
They're
not amazing. And I think they should do like a series for these kind of things instead of a movie because people expect a lot.
That's what it felt like. It felt like I was watching a TNT show. I was like, what am I watching? And Liu Kang.
People expect more story because the games have a lot of story.
Yeah.
So maybe in a series they can like flush things out better.
It's true.
Compared to a movie. In movies they have to like, you know, especially now that they want stuff like 2 hours and shorter and Warner Bros.
Yes, I mean, you know, you binge watch Cobra Kai and then you go right and binge watch Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, you could have I think Mortal Kombat could have been done like that for sure. But I also think bringing it back in theaters wasn't a bad idea. But I mean, if you, I was a young teen when the first Mortal Kombat came out in '95, and I was so hyped about that. That to me was the greatest video game movie ever made when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it was.
Everybody was on the couch.
Everybody, you know what I mean? Everybody loved that. We loved that movie.
Yeah,
and even it's aged, but it still has a certain charm to it now.
Yeah.
When you look at this movie, I thought it was a good idea to bring it back if they were going to like actually like kind of build like, you know, you see in the 1995 version you had Liu Kang, Sonya, Johnny Cage, and it felt like in this one you were going to have Nicole, Sonya, Jax, Kano. I felt like Kano being one of the characters that was kind of advertised to kind of be in their group. I felt like he should have had more of, well, one, I felt like the movie should have been longer. I felt like Kano should have stayed on their side until the end of the movie and maybe make a flip at the very end. I felt like there were so many things that were moving at breakneck speed that you just couldn't, it felt like nothing mattered at all.
Yep.
So I really feel like if they were going to do this movie in theaters, they should have given it some more time and added some more layers to the story, kind of stretch things out a little bit, and maybe get us into right before the first tournament starts, right before the tournament starts, and then boom, break to credits, and then the second movie will be the entire tournament. If they were going to do a prequel type thing, tease the tournament for us.
Yeah, that's the thing is like there was no tournament. Like they were in that structure or whatever. They were in the desert, whatever. And then they were all just kind of there, and they're like, "Yo, what's up?" And then he put his shield up, and he's like, "You guys can't come in here yet. We're training." It was kind of like, what the hell? The story I thought was really bad. It was really rushed. They didn't give it any time to breathe. And honestly, when we're talking about, Mortal Kombat, the first one that came out,
it felt very well paced. It felt very well paced. Like it just kind of was smoothly taking us through just these 3 Mortal Kombat heroes.
But it had something to build off of.
And it built on it. Yeah.
Exactly. They made Annihilation.
And then well, that's a whole different story. But when we actually look at this trailer, I mean, I absolutely love this trailer. I mean, this is my favorite part. Man, that's real action right there. You got shotguns going off.
Hell yeah.
I don't need to run.
Here we go.
You know what I mean? You feel the game. You're like,
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But I mean, like that.
Give me that and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
that's all I need.
But that felt
they had an opportunity.
In the trailers, when so like back in the day, as most of us know, it's like we didn't have the internet like this, right? So when you go to the theater, and I remember seeing that trailer, I was like, oh my God, this is so badass, and I couldn't wait to see it. And I saw it, and I was like, dude, that was awesome. Yeah. And just in comparison, I actually felt like the current Mortal Kombat, it fell short compared to this movie. It fell short, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I can't believe that fell short. Because this is a good movie, don't get me wrong, the one we just saw on the screen, but I felt like they should have been able to say, okay, we can top that.
Yeah.
But they did in terms of special effects, which was expected, but they didn't do it in terms of like storytelling.
Yeah.
The story was.
They didn't do it in terms of like the movie overall.
It should have been a TV show. The way they set it up, it would have been better if that cast and crew was like part of a series. Then it'd be like, okay, well, then I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, cheesy lines, whatever. But like when Liu Kang showed up in the movie, I was like, man, what the hell am I watching right now? He was just super cheesy. He was like, oh, I'm going to help train you. It was just like, oh man, this is not good. This is not
Super
good.
Monk.
When they released the first 7 minutes, a few days before it came out, I was into that. Like I liked that opening sequence, and I was like, oh, this is like going to be pretty good. But then that was probably like one of the best like story parts of the movie.
That was the only part. This is why I felt that was the only part of the movie that wasn't rushed. That was the only scene that gave it time to breathe. Yeah. And that's why it was the best scene in the movie, and that's why they released that. They're like, it'll just so that it'll give them a false sense
to find out
pacing.
Walter Romano was behind.
It'll get a bunch of people to buy into it for the first weekend.
And 7 minutes is kind of a lot to release, like right before the movie comes out, especially for a short movie. So I was surprised that they released that much right before it came out, but.
See, I think that I think they kind of figure these things out right before the movie comes out, because if you think about the strategy of releasing like the first 7 minutes of a movie that you're also dropping in theaters, you're trying to oversell it.
Yeah.
So if you're overselling it, you're trying to compensate for something that's missing, but you're not going to find out till after you watch the first 7 minutes. So people are going to buy into it. Theaters are going to be packed. People are going to be sitting at their house ready to watch it. You've had all this marketing with Scorpion, Sub-Zero, all these different characters. Scorpion's only in like 8 minutes. Oh, he's only in 8 minutes of the movie.
It should have been about Scorpion.
I feel like, yes. I agree with that.
I want to follow him through hell. Let's do it.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was just him and Sub-Zero, and you find out, like, from their point of view, how everything works out.
That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping that it might have been like half the Shirai Ryu versus Lin Kuei and the Scorpion Sub-Zero feud. and how it grew and how it kind of.
Uche just dropping names right now.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, I've been playing this stuff for years, dude. I've been playing Mortal Kombat since Mortal Kombat 1. You know, so but no, I felt like they could have even got away with just doing a single movie with Sub-Zero and Scorpion and just and going and fleshing out that feud and calling that Mortal Kombat Origins, and then go through each character if they wanted to do it like Marvel. Go through each character and make a movie, and then make Mortal Kombat at the end.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You guys want a Mortal Kombat cinematic universe? Oh no, okay, no. All right.
See, that didn't make sense when that producer or whoever was talking about how they approached it by thinking like, oh, okay, Marvel. Oh, all of a sudden they didn't just have the Avengers; they had Iron Man. They had these characters that kind of built up to the Avengers becoming a team. And I was like, well, yeah, but that was through several movies, not all in one movie. So you can't. That doesn't make any sense.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, they get the opportunity to actually like kind of try and do a universe the right way, and they still blow it. And I'm willing to bet that there's probably 20 or 30 minutes of this movie that are missing.
Well, Louis said that his favorite fights didn't make it.
And if your favorite fights didn't make it, then I'm sure there's a lot of contextual scenes that didn't make it either.
I'm sure we're gonna have a cut. I'm sure we're gonna have a cut. He said he
hopes. Yeah, he's like, I hope they're on the special features.
And think about this, like, what about the parts where you see Scorpion in the underworld in like those were like literally like a 5 seconds complete together, 5 seconds. But I feel like that was probably another storyline that was going on behind the actual movie that they cut out. I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
And that was the storyline that I wanted to see. That was the storyline that I wanted to follow more in depth. Like, hey, like okay, I understand you want to show Cole's story, and he gets the Aquaman armor, and it was kind of like, well, I don't know, this is kind of weird. But I'd say then all of a sudden, that like at the end of the movie, not spoil it for Ryan.
I don't think he's gonna watch it after
he doesn't care. But then at the end, when we actually do see Scorpion, all of a sudden he's just kind of there, like you're just like, whoa, what the hell?
Just came out of nowhere, like, well, how the hell did you come back?
Yeah, he's like, I came all the way from hell. Like, how did that happen? Like, what was that like?
Too many questions. Come here.
We didn't even summon you.
Since the first 7 minutes was like the best part, that's why you want to see more of that, because you're like, oh god, now he's gone, and it's like you want to know what's going on with him. And like Uche said, when they're showing him in the underworld or whatever, it's just like quick flashes of where he is, so you kind of know that he's there. Or you might be expecting him obviously to come back because he's in the trailer, but like they don't expand on that at all.
No,
they don't really go
I bet they have scenes recorded that were just cut.
Definitely.
That were just cut. It probably explains all of that.
Same thing about Kong versus Godzilla, that they cut like 30 minutes out of that one too.
That was a short movie too.
That was a short movie for that epic, fight or whatever. It felt really rushed
because according to all the major or to most of the trades, Mortal Kombat and Godzilla vs. Kong, they're the reason why HBO Max is successful. Not because
because I mean, have you seen the critical acclaim? I mean, it's in the 90s.
Yeah, not because of this movie.
The Snyder Cut.
But we're talking about Mortal Kombat and Godzilla vs. Kong. And look, Godzilla vs. Kong, I like the movie, but when you compare all, that is my point.
It's a one-time watch.
It's a one-time watch. If it's a game, it has no replay value. Mortal Kombat, I mean, honestly, the next time I would watch that is on YouTube just to watch the fight scenes, and that's it. I'm never going to watch that damn movie again.
I'm never going to purchase these movies.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched Mortal Kombat twice. The second time I watched it, I made it an hour-long movie. I just went through to the fight and just kept going and kept going.
Let's get through this. Come on, guys.
And he's got that playing in the back. He's just watching it.
But still, it's like even when we watched that trailer from the original Mortal Kombat, when he got to that part where it was like Liu Kang, Kano, you know what I mean? Like it brought up that nostalgia. You were like, oh yeah, this is badass.
Feels like the fucking video game.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. And there was no tournament. And even in the original movie, there was a tournament.
Yeah,
they made sure to put that in there. This one, I don't know what the hell was going on. They were like, they all seemed scared. They were like, I don't want to be here. This sucks. Sonya didn't have a damn tattoo. They were like, why are you even here? She's like, I don't know.
Yeah, they were talking. They were shit posting her like,
oh, the whole time.
Oh,
like,
somebody doesn't have a tattoo. Get the hell off of our practice fucking facility. The hell out of here. Go on.
Then how did what's his name know where it was and what they were talking about? I don't understand that. When he was like, I know where that is. How do you know what they're talking about? Yeah. How would you know?
I mean, Kano didn't even know where it was. He was just riding around like, yeah, I remember this. I remember this area. And Liu Kang walking the other way.
Yeah, they just left, not even knowing what was happening with Drax and not Drax. Shit. What's his name?
Drax from Guardians?
No. I was thinking
you must be so embarrassed.
No, the guy who with his arms.
Oh,
Jax.
Jax.
Yeah.
Jax.
Oh, I said Drax.
Hey, how they play
the guy with the arms?
They gave Jax a little tiny, the tiny.
They didn't even know what happened to him, and they just left.
He's like, let me serve it to you with my strong arm.
What is that? A scary movie? Remember? He's like,
yeah, it was a scary movie.
You want some mashed potatoes? He puts it in there. But no, I don't understand why we went through that where Jax had the little arms and he's trying to fight with these little.
Because his power was bigger arms.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, why didn't we just get to that? You know, I don't know. It was just kind of weird.
Y'all just didn't build them some big ones.
Yeah, that's true.
They went to like 9 different dimensions to find the parts.
Follow me. Let's go. Like a T-Rex.
That's what he looked like. So RC of the NYC says, my friend in Japan told me that the version of GBK has 7 extra minutes. Well, it needs more than 7 minutes. It needs about a half an hour more.
It needs about a half hour. Yeah.
About a half an hour. And you know, like, not to switch gears too much, but when it came to GBK, I still feel that after Kong made it back to his castle or whatever, and he was sitting on his throne with his axe, I still feel like when they made the movie, they were like, dude, this is a badass scene. We did it. Yeah. They were like,
did it.
High-fiving each other.
Yeah, and they're like,
crowd's gonna cheer. They're gonna get out of their seats and cheer.
They're like, we got a problem. What? How are we gonna get him back up to fight Godzilla?
Because it was hella hard to get him here.
That's what I was wondering too.
Oh, I got it. My kid just had a great idea. Godzilla's gonna blow a fucking hole through the floor all the way to the middle of Earth. All right, let's do it.
like the Earth is only like half a mile dense.
Yeah, I know. And there's no weird gravitational.
Yeah. It's fine.
No consequences for that at all.
Hey, we're back. You know, it's like, oh, okay. Well,
and you're gonna look in the hole and see Godzilla on the other side. Like, hey, bitch.
Yeah.
Time to fight.
And King Kong is not gonna. He's not gonna lose he's not gonna break a sweat going through that hole.
But he lost. I mean, Godzilla won that fight. I was like, damn.
Godzilla was beating the shit out of his ass. I was like, come on, Kong. Kong just like, getting thrown against shit. He's like, I quit. I
grew up my beard for this.
I know.
Shit, I could have just stayed on my throne to just stay my ass in the underworld.
But he couldn't though, because he got home, he got his axe, which he hadn't seen in probably a millennia, and then they're like, and then he blows a hole down there, and he totally wrecks his house. I was like, man, this guy hasn't been home in
now my shit collapsing.
And now my shit's got a skylight all the way to freaking Japan.
But before he did all that, like him traveling through that area where it was like the land was above and below as well. I thought that was pretty dope.
That was cool.
I like that too. It was. Yeah.
And then he fought the flying dragons, the ones that were just kind of floating around. He was cool. That was cool. But then when Kong fought Godzilla out in the ocean on those ships.
Oh, God, that was super. Yeah.
But it's like they're in these the main cast is in that ship, right? And these other ships are just getting tore up, blown up, and no one's going like, "Oh my God, all those people died." They're just like, hey, release Kong.
They knew what they signed up for.
Like, Kong out! They knew what they signed up for. Their families are paid off.
But, do you think this aircraft carrier can support both their weights?
Yeah, without collapsing?
Or breaking, splitting in half.
You think these You think these low altitude fucking little mini bombs are gonna reach Godzilla in time? I mean, he took Kong pretty far down already. Kong's probably gonna drown.
I was like, no. Apes are really good swimmers, from what I hear.
I mean, he didn't even get a chance to take a breath. He just went straight down.
They're like, yeah, because gorillas are really good at holding their breath.
Yeah. Like, he didn't open his mouth and swallow any water at all.
He came out like, rah! I was like, oh man, come on.
That motherfucker came out and damn near had a seizure when he got to the top. Oh, shit. That was really close.
Godzilla vs. Kong should have been over in 15 minutes with every human and aircraft carrier downing in that ship. Yeah, like everyone died on that ship. All those pilots, everybody, nobody gave a shit.
God, yeah.
They were just like, well, it's a good thing I don't know anybody on that ship. You know what I mean? It's like, the hell?
They're not a part of the story.
Yeah, they're not a part of the story. It doesn't matter.
See, I feel like they almost should have did it more like that. If you're going to do Godzilla vs. Kong or any kind of kaiju film, we don't care about the humans. I don't fucking want a human story at all.
I know.
I say the same shit about Transformers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about the human aspect in Transformers.
I don't care about the humans. They should all they are completely like replaceable items in this movie. Just let them roll over them, just like we saw in Invincible. In Invincible, just roll over them. Fuck them. Roll over them. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. In Invincible, the old lady, he's like, hang on. And he crashed into that crater. Her legs all fucking tore up. He was like, oh my God. You know, that's what,
like, damn, I kind of made it worse.
Yeah. Like, did I even help you? You know?
Did I even help? What about the lady that he was holding on to? Where all he had was the arm left?
Oh, yeah.
The arm.
That was.
Hey, man. Episode 8 traumatized the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what's going on?
And the pilot was like, oh, I thought it was a goner.
You are.
Man, it's just like, oh, you know what? It's so much energy, so much work. It's easy. Just squeeze his head.
He could have just threw him or something, but no.
Yeah.
He's trying to teach his son a lesson.
It would be far too tame if he would have just tossed him through 10 trees.
And then like the Batman character that was in the Guardians, he like tried to jump down on top of Omni-Man.
God. He freaking like slapped him across the fucking ground like he was a wet towel.
That fight was, oh my God.
He's a wet towel.
That's what it reminded me of, just smacking a wet towel up against the ground. That was his body. Just.
So let me ask you though, Uche. I mean, we're talking about being overpowered. When you got to the NFL as an offensive lineman, who was the hardest person to cover? Was there anyone that you had to block that you were just like, oh, I'm gonna get this is impossible?
Nope. No one.
Nobody. Was anyone that gave you a tough time where you're like, man, this guy gives me a tough time, but you know, I can handle it?
Albert Hainsworth.
Really?
Mm-hmm. See, I was the first year starter when I had to play against him, like in his like peak form, when he was like picking up linemen by their helmets and tossing them to the sideline.
And these are big guys. I mean, they're not just like, you know.
This is a 6'8", 360-pound defensive tackle who's bipolar. If you get him mad, he's gonna stomp on your face.
He's bipolar.
I mean, God, dude.
That reminds me of Waterboy when the guys go, woo, woo, you sound like a choo-choo train.
I'm telling you, he did it. He did it to a player. He did it to the Cowboys center back then, Andrew Garode. Stomped on his face. Had to get like 30 stitches.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
the dude was like, he could probably wrestle a bear. If I'm being, you know, at that point in his career, he could wrestle a bear. I mean, the Washington Redskins at the time gave him like $100 million.
Yeah.
He was the first player to get that. Well, I had to play him all year the year before that. So he was playing his best ball. It was hard. It was very hard.
Oh, here we go. And it's just like a monster coming at you every time. And it's not just like, oh, you know, I got to
even when I bodied him. When I bodied him a couple times, I would like help him off the ground. Like, oh, come on, big dog. Come on. Get up. Let's get up. Because what am I going to do? Talk shit? No, I'm not going to do that.
That's right. He's like, oh, now I'm going to kill you. You're like, no.
We'd be in the locker room before the game looking at the injury report. Like, They said he was questionable this week. Maybe he's not playing. Nope, he's playing. Fuck.
In uniform already, like
Yeah.
I was thinking the week off, man. Damn it.
That's how it was. That's how it is, man. Shit, we be in the locker room like, fuck.
Is there a lot of shit talking, like on the line when you guys are lining up and like when they hike the ball?
No, it's too much, dude. It's too much.
It's just too much going on. Like,
no, you don't have the energy to talk shit after you're running the play. Like you're running full speed. Like, motherfucker, my focus is on the play and then getting back to the huddle. I can't breathe in between that. It's just play, get ready and go. Like all the talking, unless you like, I mean. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to hit you in your face. If we're going to fight, we're going to fight.
Hey, you look pretty cut. You got any tips?
You know what I mean? Like if we're going to fight, we're going to fight. But we're not going to sit there and talk shit back and forth. That's air that I'm wasting by talking to you. I need that in my lungs.
It's like I can't even talk when I'm working out. So my kids are trying to talk to me, and I'm like,
it's like
and they're like, they keep repeating themselves, and I'm like,
you're just looking at them. Yeah, you're looking at them like, nah, I can't.
Hold on, I can't talk. And they're like, why are you yelling? I'm like, because I can't breathe and I can't talk. So wait, like, hold on, give me a second.
That's how it is, man. I'm telling you, we're old linemen. We don't get subbed out. We're in the entire game.
And you know what's unfortunate too is that out of all the positions in football, especially when it comes to like video games and also in fantasy sports, the O-line
is the most forgotten part.
It's the most forgotten. I mean, there's barely any stats at all, and especially in fantasy football.
Well, there's stats. It's just that don't nobody give a fuck about it. They're gonna say how many sacks did you give up?
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's pretty much it.
That's it. You know what I mean? You're just like, man, it's just.
But
crazy,
man. The stats that are directly attributed to the offensive line are sacks. Like you can look at those. You know how good an offensive line is. 90% of the sack stat will tell you whether they protect well in protection because some sacks aren't on the offensive line, but also yards per carry. Yards per carry for a running back tells you how well the O-line is blocking.
That makes sense. Yep.
So the average, what's considered good in terms of yards per carry is 4 yards. So if any running back who averages over 4 yards a carry has a good offensive line in front of him.
Well, yeah, 4 yards, definitely. I mean, that's really good, and especially averaging 4 yards. And so that's why when we're talking about Godzilla versus Kong, I was like, dude, there's got to be somebody that you went up against that you were just like, fuck you.
I mean, that's how it is with O linemen. That's what it is for us every time. It's Godzilla versus Kong. Like, it's like,
here we go.
Big ass motherfuckers just wrestling the whole damn play.
I mean, it's basically
screaming and grunting.
I mean, that's basically what you're doing every down. Like you're just like, he's trying to get by you. And you're
I can just see Uche like with an axe. You're like, oh shit, where'd it come from?
Double axe handle.
Illegal.
That's actually a move.
Albert Hayeswood's got the atomic breath. It's crazy, man. But no, I mean that's really cool though. I mean the fact that you played in the NFL, I mean that's in my opinion that is such an amazing achievement. And it goes to show you too. I mean, there's so much that goes into this as well. I mean, these guys are playing football for their entire lives. I mean, and I think you were touching on it on one of your videos. You were saying that they played their whole lives to get to this moment to play in the NFL.
Sure.
And your first down that you played in the NFL, what was the feeling? I mean, did you even think about it? Or were you just so locked in that you were just like,
no, man, I was aware of the moment, it was my rookie year, first preseason game. We were playing against the Miami Dolphins in Miami. And that's like on a Saturday night. So that was a Saturday night. And I mean, you go out there for warm-ups before the game, and it's kind of like, oh my God, this is an NFL game.
Like this is about to happen.
Like you see like all of the like markings on the stadium, all of the camera crews, and you see reporters on the sidelines. Like, so these are all things that as a kid watching on TV, you see those same things from the TV perspective. Mm-hmm. But now you're on the field, you're actually seeing it from that player's perspective. And, getting to the line of scrimmage on the very first play. Like I think my feet and my fingers felt like really tingly and numb. Like I was nervous. So I was like, I can't feel the ground. I don't know what's going on.
Adrenaline's like, phew.
I'm just going to go when he says hot.
He's like, what? Why is he smiling? It's weird.
Why is that guy? Why is he crying? What's going on? I don't know what's happening. It's the first play.
You're like, I don't know what's about to happen, but it's going to happen right now.
No, it was surreal. It was surreal, and it was exciting, man. And and there's you ask any professional athlete, there are very few things in life that feel the way it feels to be in that moment in your professional career. So,
I mean, it
might be better. It might be better than sex because it's that kind of like energy you get. Like,
right,
you get an energy where your entire body is completely taken
Don't touch
over.
me! Don't touch me!
I'm telling you, man. Hey,
Give me a minute.
It's a weird thing to say, but
I'm experiencing the moment.
If I'm being 100% honest, it's probably the closest thing I can describe it as, because you're addicted to that. Like that Sundays were what I like. Like everything was worth getting to Sunday. I hated football practice. I hated being in meetings all day. We all complained. All of us. We all complained about being in there practicing. Just like people complain about going to work during the week. We complain about going to work during the week. Be like, damn, I hope we don't have to wear no fucking pads today in practice. No pads, boys. Like, oh, everybody's like, shit. Everybody's like, just throw our pads in the middle of the locker room. Stack up all our pads before we go to lunch. And just so they know we don't want to be in pads today. And we come back in the locker room from lunch, and all the equipment guys have put our shoulder pads back in our like, yeah, hey, don't get mad at us, guys. They just tell us it's pads today. So those days sucked, but it was all necessary, and it made Sundays feel that much better. So when you come out there on Sunday and it's like 70,000 people, and like there are people just going crazy rabid over the fucking doors when you come out, like,
yeah,
come on, man, there ain't nothing better than that. When you make a big play on fourth down, somebody makes a big play, scores a touchdown, like
it's so loud too. I'd imagine too, the crowd, and it gets lit up.
Oh man, I never heard the crowd until there was a big play that got made. I never even paid attention to the crowd.
Wow.
We got a Hail Mary one time. This was like, I think 10 years, like it was like the anniversary of it, like a couple of weeks ago, I think, but or no, a couple months ago, I'm sorry. But we had a Hail Mary that won the game at the end of the game.
Wow.
Like, literally like a 50-yard bomb that just got caught, touchdown. We win, game's over. And that was like it was like we won the Super Bowl. The whole stadium was going crazy. Players, we had a big pile in the corner of the end zone. I was too tired to get all the way to the corner of the end zone, but we were high-fiving in the middle of the field. We were like, yeah!
Let's go. Take his pants off.
Take his pants off.
Shit, you know what I mean? I already unstrapped my shit, like, running around.
Well, and then it's really not fair, too, because, I mean, when you commit a penalty or a foul, or a penalty, when, like, if you're holding or a false start, it's not like they just go false start on the they call you out your number, you know what I mean? And so like they tell you exactly who made the infraction. You're just like, damn.
Oh no! See, look, I rarely got called for penalties. I went
That's
a whole
awesome.
season.
That's good.
I went a whole season where I didn't get called for a single penalty.
Wow.
And then the next year I had 3 penalties in one game.
Like I'm done with this.
It was a great game until those 3 pententies, because they were like,
oh my god, like what is happening right now?
What the fuck is going on here? Like holding. I'm like, God damn.
And you can see the flag in the corner of your eye. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah, I saw the flag. Ref looked right at me like, I told you not to do that again. I'm like, what? What now?
And then you also mentioned too that I think you told Zach this was that that they would play the audio clips from from 300.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, that year was wild. Like, because that was my rookie year. So we went to the playoffs. We went 2 rounds deep my rookie year, and all our home games we had 300 playing. Like, and our the video editing team would like edit it to like mix with plays from past games.
Oh, that's cool.
And so there'd be like, if there was like one big play where it won the game or it sealed it on defense, like it would play it with like one of Leonidas's like war chants, you know, and then right before the kickoff, it would play that Spartans, what is your occupation?
Yeah.
And then boom, and then the kickoff would start after that because the crowd would go crazy. So.
And what a rush that must feel like too. I mean, and we're talking about it right here. I can only imagine being there in real life with the crowd going absolutely crazy. You're just like, man, this is it.
Oh yeah. I mean, and you know, when you're having a good season, it gets wild like at an instant. Like when anything happens that's favorable for the team, you get a complete eruption. You know what I mean? So I was always like, I mean, what I say.
Somebody brought cookies.
Yeah. First down. No! 4th and 1. No!
But that's what I'm saying. So guys like Tom Brady, who've been doing this for years and going to the Super Bowls nine times or whatever.
Tom Brady, man. What talk about him for?
Oh, I forgot he was in your division.
Are we out here talking about me? No, he wasn't in my division. We just had to play against him.
Oh, you did? Yeah, because you were in the South, AFC South. Yeah, that guy.
We lost to them in the playoffs my rookie year. They cheated, but it's okay.
They cheated. They always cheated.
Oh yes,
cheated. So look, we did a lot of work, and now Zack Snyder's Justice League has been released. Mm-hmm. And I know recently you did a charity stream. And look, before we get into any of that, I just want to say, you guys raised like almost $100,000,
$103,000 with the auctions.
And to me, that is admirable in itself. Awesome. And that is, I'm telling you, that is such an accomplishment to raise that much. And I think you guys were at like 60 grand before he even got there.
Yeah, we had already got to 60 grand.
Oh, cool.
Oh, look, Ill Life's got your back, Uche. He's like, Pats are cheaters.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, ask anybody in the league. Are the Patriots cheaters? Any player. They'll be, and even if they respect the Super Bowl wins, yeah, they some cheaters. Everybody has a Patriots cheating story in the NFL.
Oh my God. That's crazy, man. And they only talk about a few of them, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you did the charity stream, and like I said, I wanted to commend you. That was honestly, that's a shit ton of money for AFSP. So that, like I said, that's what I was saying, dude. That's fucking awesome. And you know, I helped organize a charity event myself. It was called Deck the Hall of Justice, and it happened during the holidays. And in total, we raised about $12,000. So the fact that when I saw you had $60,000, I was like, dude, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know that it didn't. That there was a moment that didn't go as planned, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what went wrong at that charity stream? Even though you guys raised a shit ton of money, that's the honest truth. But
look, man, perfect storm of issues that kind of led up to that point. Really, at the end of the day, I think that situation was just misinterpreted by a lot of people who rightfully were a little confused with how Zach said things. But I never actually correlated his statements as being connected statements because I mean, in that situation, I live in Atlanta, so I knew what he was talking about when he went into talking about togetherness, the Justice League being something that brings people together, and that we shouldn't be about hate, about violence. He was speaking about an event that had just happened in my city like 10 hours earlier, 12 hours earlier. So I understood that he was making two different statements. Wasn't worded well, wasn't particularly expressed in a, to give a little bit of segue from one topic into another. So, it could be easily misconstrued, and it's unfortunate that it happened like that. It's unfortunate that it kind of swirled out of control, I think, to a certain extent. It was very blown out of proportion. And that's the internet for you, that things are going to get blown out of proportion. So, really the only reason why there was anything that was said in terms of Geeks and Gamers at all by Zach was because we had agreed that the charity stream, because it was being done with me on my channel, wouldn't have there wasn't supposed to be any I guess representation of Geeks and Gamers as they're not connected to the stream itself, the charity event itself. And we had the Geeks and Gamers logo was mistakenly put on the auction site. So that was a big no-no for them. So they had to make a statement to say, hey, the auction is not affiliated or associated with, or the charity event's not associated with Geeks and Gamers, which is just, I mean, that was the fact of the matter. Had nothing to do with anything else outside of that because of the auction site having the logo on it. Had nothing to do with hate, had nothing to do with anything else.
But that's why I get back to that whole point is that why is it that there are so many people out there that will refer to Geeks and Gamers as a hate group? And
that's the part that's most confusing to me. I mean, where did he ever say anything about a hate group? There was nothing ever said about a hate group by him. You know, he made a statement about he's not personally associated with Geeks and Gamers, and that was that. And then he's talked about the Asian violence, anti-Asian violence, which was something that they also said almost verbatim. The exact same statement was said by Kevin Smith before the premiere for Justice League. After that, in their online premiere, so it was the same statement. He said the same statement Zach said. So that just kind of shows you this was a statement they were going to say regardless.
And things did get really blown out of proportion, and it really got blown up because of the fact that there was a follow-up stream after the charity stream. And on there, I know you did say, there is, Geeks and Gamers has a stigma. And I think that's what people are talking about. When there's a lot of negativity towards Geeks and Gamers, what can you say about Geeks and Gamers that people are maybe have the misconception about?
Go watch Geeks and Gamers content. Watch our Sunday night Mario Kart streams. Watch our Wednesday night Warzone streams. Watch our, Phasmophobia streams with Krista Nova. Watch Mark the Cyborg's absolutely amazing game review videos that are dropped on Gaming with Geeks channel. I think people, some people don't want to look at the bigger picture of Geeks and Gamers and understand that it's really a diverse group of people who come together and do content. Now, do they do a lot of content that is more edgy when it comes to, dealing with stuff like Star Wars? Yeah, but I mean, that's entertainment for people who want to be entertained that way. Like where we do videos on how much we think that Warner Brothers is out of touch and how they're completely mismanaging the DCEU, how they've given the Snyderverse the raw end of the deal. Like those are all the same. That's the same kind of content. It's the same content. It's entertainment, but it's also informational, and it's kind of speaking to people's feelings and how they feel about things. So I would think that any smart business person would want to kind of have an element that they can kind of feed that desire for a little bit of controversy from the fan base, because the fan base is often the last ones that are thought about when it comes to the decisions that these companies make in their ivory towers. So, people do want to have somebody who kind of speaks more to what they feel about, how somebody like Rey is just unbelievably powerful, yet so has no training whatsoever in the Jedi arts, but she can dominate, someone who's been trained by dark side masters for decades, these are things that fans pay attention to. And when they don't feel like the corporation is giving some kind of like credence to the needs of the people who actually spend their money on their products, then it can become an issue where you have people on your ass. And that's what Star Wars has been. That's what Star Wars has been trying to get past for the last 3-4 years, because they keep screwing up.
Yeah,
because they keep screwing up. So Geeks and Gamers focused on that for a long time, and there are people who are going to look at that and say, "Oh, well, they're sexist, they're misogynist, they're this and that." No, they're just fans who are tired, who want the stories to be more important than the identity politics of it. We don't have a problem with that if you put it in there. I don't have a problem with it if you put in, like, if you include you can put in any race, creed, color, sexuality, preference, whatever, but just do it. Don't hold it up on a soapbox, and don't parade it around, because it seems artificial when you do that. Put it in, and put it into the story organically. You look at Zack Snyder's Justice League. There's so much organic, like, nods to people's, like, to different groups. with how his story is put out there. Like, you know, what they call identity politics. You look at how Wonder Woman knelt down and told that little girl, you can be whatever you want to be. Like, that's a very organic way to get a message across to an audience that feels like it was earned, feels like it's deserved. Like, doesn't feel like something you're hamming into it just for the sake of it, to check a box. I think that's the problem with a lot of media now. A lot of media is trying to check boxes rather than just give us compelling stories. And Zack Snyder gave us a compelling story, and that's why people love his cut of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it was a very compelling story, and they cut that scene in the theatrical cut, which is unbelievable. It's like, wow, this is such a great scene. I mean? And they were like, let's lose that. Yeah, cut that out.
Like, when you talk about Cyborg, I'm not broken. Like, that is saying a lot to a lot of people in this country.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not broken.
Yep.
Because a lot of people seem to think if things aren't a certain way, if you're not normal, then you're broken. You know what I mean? And that's not true. And he represents that in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So these are things that fans love because it speaks to the heart of the characters. You know what I mean? You don't have to tell me, you know, you don't have to ham-fist it in front of me that Cyborg is a black character and that he's, you know, and that this is why he's an excellent character in the movie. No, Cyborg's an excellent character in the movie because his story, you can feel that story. It makes sense to you. We've been there. This guy was a high school or college football star. He was in his prime of his life. Like so many of us have been in it. It all got taken away from him.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody can relate to that, you know, and I think, you know, kind of rewinding back and reaching back to what I was talking about. That's kind of the essence of what Geeks and Gamers in that mode as a channel that tries to entertain by kind of going after these, you know, quote unquote identity politics, quote unquote woke, whatever you want to call it. I think that's where the essence of that is that they just want to see good stories. Don't tell us about all these things you're doing that are so much better for movie culture, movie society, whatever you want to call it. Just give us those good stories, and we'll love those characters too. But just give us the good stories. And people take that and say that it's hate that they do that. So, you know, for me, I can't hear nobody who says that because it's bullshit. Because I've been around them. I know who's I know who's on that team. Like, come on. These are people who are all come from all kinds of walks of life, and the majority of us are all minorities on that team. So we all have our own stories that we can tell that'll just show you and be more evidence that there's nothing that has to do with that with Geeks and Gamers. That's just stupid to even think of it like that.
Well, and also too, I mean, that also leads to the whole hashtag, you know, the hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Do you think that we will get a continuation of Zack Snyder's universe, let's say on HBO Max? And do you think we're going to get one? And do you think we should get one?
Well, I think there's a couple things you got to ask yourself. Do you realistically believe that Ann Sarnoff and Walter Hamada would allow for the Snyderverse to return in any form that could possibly interfere with what they're trying to do with DC films?
Right.
I would say no, they wouldn't. But I also think that AT&T has a much wider AT&T sees a lot more than Warner Media sees. AT&T sees it as, and AT&T has the money to look a lot further down the road and to try and play a much longer game than Warner Media is playing. Warner Media is playing for the next 5 years because that's that's where Walter Hamada's window is. If he don't deliver something that's like a bona fide, indisputable hit, he's going to be gone too, I think.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, if he doesn't provide, if he doesn't hit like a streak that allows them to actually find a direction, because they still don't have a direction. Unless something hits where he can say, unless something hits where we can say we're going all the way behind this, then he's going to be gone too.
Yep.
And once he's gone and Ann Sarnoff's gone, it's going to be too far along to go back to the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
But I think the most realistic chance for the Snyderverse to continue, in my opinion, is through HBO Max, but not necessarily in the sense of a Justice League 2 or a Justice League 3. I think that the fleshing out of the universe in the Snyderverse can happen on HBO Max with Deathstroke, with more individual character series, the Batman series possibly, or maybe Batgirl series that kind of comes into, kind of starts to lead up to something with Deathstroke. I think we're going to need like 5 years of those kind of projects getting the green light on HBO Max to kind of justify again going back into theatrical with Snyder's, with the path that Zach has set out with. Now, I think at that point you may be recasting a couple people, but just because, like, hey, it's like Kingdom Come. You're not third. We can't have you looking 20 years older in camera, but I think that there's a chance for it to come back theatrically later. But if they can get something, if they can keep it alive with HBO Max through things like Deathstroke and, individual series that you can have stay in that universe and still have Easter eggs from that universe, I think that then you just have to keep it alive right now so that it can be reborn completely in a little bit down the road, because they're already the train is moving with Hamada and his stuff right now.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's either gonna fail and they'll clean house and then they just go straight back to Snyderverse, or it's on a lifeline and they're trying to like get it chugging and get it going, and it's either successful, and it has to be wildly successful. I think I don't think just being good is going to be enough, because I mean, let's be real.
You're right.
BVS hit almost 900 million, and that was considered a failure.
Yep.
900 million was considered a failure
for their second movie.
For their second movie. Yeah.
And it was crapped on by the critics, and it still made that much.
And it was 30 minutes cut out that actually made a huge difference to the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that just should have told you, if you would have released the Ultimate Edition, there's your $1 billion.
Can you imagine how different the DCEU would have been if they would have just let the fucking movies that were made be released?
Just let the director, let Zach make his movie. And
remember when he said it was a director-driven studio?
Exactly. And where has that been, right? And here's a question from the one of the viewers. He's a patron of the show, Kinky Sphincter. He says, "Hey Uche, is there a movie you hated watching in the theaters but saw it again at home? What is it?" Mine is Inglourious Bastards. I hated it in the theaters. Now it's my number 3 movie. I thought that was a great ass movie. I like Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, I thought that was a great movie too.
I thought that was fire in the theater too. I was like, this is badass.
Well, I mean, it's a remake, but it's a fire remake.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Man, a movie that I thought was ass in the theaters, but was good when I watched it the next couple times. I don't know if there's one, and I don't think there is one. Usually, if it's ass,
then that's it, man.
Then I'm done with it.
In your mouth.
I can't. If it's ass, I can't even get through. If I sit down for the second watch and have second thoughts before I even get an hour into the second watch, I know it's trash. I can't watch it no more. To me, that's like every Marvel movie. Like every Marvel movie I've ever watched, I've never wanted to watch again, except for Thor Ragnarok. That's
You
the
didn't like Winter Soldier?
No, I did not like Winter Soldier. I don't know why.
I love that movie.
I like Winter Soldier.
That's the only one that I'm like, they did a pretty good job.
Maybe it's just I've been a DC fan my entire life. The only Marvel I ever interacted with as growing up was X-Men. That was it.
What about the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton?
Never liked well, you know what? I did like that movie.
That was a good movie.
But I never saw. I've only seen it bits and pieces after I watched it in the theater.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a question from 187. He says, "Niners winning the Super Bowl this year?" I don't know.
Nope.
I hope so.
Nope.
I think the IMAX remaster selling out in minutes is a good indicator that the half hour made a tremendous difference.
And not just that, it's old already.
It's like this movie came out years ago, and
it's not old, but it's not new anymore.
But the BVS Ultimate Edition, I mean, it just has there's so much more story that they took out of it, and it makes you wonder too.
They rearranged the movie. Like they rearranged.
There's things that happen in different orders.
Yeah, it happens in different orders. Like in the Ultimate Edition, correct me if I'm wrong, Lex Luthor's entire story arc and how he tries to create this feud between Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
Like his contingency plan was Doomsday. And that was, and he went into the ship later on in the movie, as opposed to at the very beginning, like right after he met with those guys in the gym. Like he didn't go to the ship till later.
Yeah.
When he lost the kryptonite, that's when he went to the ship. Because the kryptonite was going to be his first way to try and subdue Superman. So that was, I mean, there was a lot of things that when you look at how Warner Brothers kind of manipulated the situation with DCEU, I mean, it's almost like it was self-sabotage because they sabotaged BVS.
No, it definitely is.
Then they sabotaged Suicide Squad. Yeah. Then they sabotaged Justice League. I mean,
and every time we're like, no, they're not going to do it again because they learned, like, they saw the response to the Ultimate Edition. So there's no way they're going to mess it up. Well, yeah, they just took that and totally ran with it in the other direction. And I think, like, if they would have said, like, okay, we're starting over, we're scrapping Zach's movie. He had to leave. We're going to go a different direction, blah, blah, blah. At least we would have known what to expect. Mm-hmm. But no, they just, like, insisted on selling that it's Zach's movie. It's his vision. It's his story. It's minor reshoots. It's the reshoots he wanted. He brought Joss Whedon on. Like, they just insisted on selling that narrative.
What they wanted to do was, like, totally shame and slander him with, like, look at this crap movie.
That's exactly what they wanted to do because they knew it was crap. So they're like, we'll sell it as Zach's movie. People won't want his stuff anymore. That's our way out of, like, Zach's universe.
Every movie they made has caused the opposite effect that they expected.
Yeah, good.
Exactly.
That's what happens when you try to be shady, and be like,
even before it came out, we were like, "This is not going to be Zach's movie."
Yeah,
we're hearing that these
right.
reshoots have been like extensive, like another $100 million worth of reshoots. I mean, look at that shit. That don't even look like Superman.
Nope, it never did. Nope.
I mean, look at that. It's just so bad.
I never understood why his whole body looked bad in the third act.
He was getting ready for that
Witcher. Well, the hands had to match Steppenwolf's hands because Steppenwolf's hands.
Yeah, look at his hands. Yeah, this looks like
it
weird.
made me so mad.
Yeah, it's just, and you have to know that
Kryptonian hands are a little larger than human hands.
Yeah, their left hand especially looks like but at one point, I mean, they had to have known, okay, this is fucking hot garbage. I mean, like, there's no way this is going to be any good. So they just went with it. And then now when you look at like here's some concept art right here. Well, that's not it. That's me.
I would have trashed that.
Whoa, what did I miss?
Here we go. Well, I forgot to add to the stream. And now this is, a look at the Flash's new suit of what it could look like. And I mean, this looks totally different from what we saw in Zach's movie. And I understand, eventually you do have to show progression in the character's, costume and suit and all that. But to me, this is just too, this is a really drastic change going from the armored look to, this is more of
Zach always said for all of his characters that he was just setting up prototypes. That other directors could come in and have
and improve on it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I always felt like Bruce Wayne would give him a new suit like this.
Yeah,
that was kind of more plated, completely plated, with maybe like these, like maybe the gold like streakings around his arms and legs. Maybe in live action, those are more represented like maybe kind of electrical capacitors to a certain extent that kind of help him control the Speed Force. Could be something like that. But I mean, I think Zach gave an excellent foundation for them to build on with the suits.
Yeah, for sure.
And then here's shots from Zack Snyder's Justice League with, if it had the yellow. Yeah, it doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right.
I can't do it. After Zach showed us that whitish blue, like, I love it in his movie.
But it looks like they're going back to this color, especially based on this right here.
It's Andy Muschietti's movie. Like, he gets to choose, that was just what Zach, that was his take on it. So I understand.
Yeah.
But it's just hard. It's really hard after seeing, like, what Zach has to offer. I don't expect him to make every movie or nothing like that. That's not even realistic.
I just kind of expected the aesthetic to stay the same, in those kind of situations where the lightning color has already been set up, that it's going to be a white with the blue out kind of blue.
Well, I've never Oh no, I've never been a fan of like the Power Ranger. Everybody has a different like in the CW show, like the Black Flash has red lightning, or and the yellow Flash, the Reverse Flash has red lightning, and Kid Flash has another color because he's not as fast, or like you can his lightning is this color, so that means this, and it's like they don't have to have every spectrum of colors. Just like it's the damn Speed Force. Just all it needs to have is one color lightning. Come on, don't be stupid. It's like fucking lightsabers and shit. You're right.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
All you really needed was a red and a blue, and like they only created the green because of the damn sky in Return of the Jedi, so that you could fucking see it. Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, fucking go green," So that's how you have a green lightsaber.
Then you had red, then you had purple.
Purple, no, purple's different. That's Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, purple is only purple. There's only one purple.
Only one purple.
Actually, it started out as blue though. Before George asked him, because I have the figure because they released that as
he had a blue one. Yeah,
real lightning.
No, but he asked George Lucas if he could have a purple.
Yes,
he did. George was just like, yeah, fuck it, yeah, go ahead. Like, not even give it a reason or nothing. Like, yeah, sure.
Fine, whatever.
Yeah. What about purple? We'll give him a purple lightsaber, and they're all gonna love Jar Jar. They're gonna speak in that language over the summer.
He's the key. Jar Jar is the key.
Jar Jar is the key.
Because because Ryan over here, Ryan is a firm believer in the Darth Jar Jar theory.
I believe I kind of believe in that too, because I read the comic book where it kind of hinted at it. And it was like, yo, Jar Jar's holding that lightsaber like he knows exactly what the fuck he's doing with it. He knows exactly what he's doing with that lightsaber. And then I went back and watched Phantom Menace. I'm like, I'll be damned. This bastard's doing backflips off of balconies.
Off of balconies,
And landing on his feet.
Of course.
Exactly. It's crazy. I thought the theory had some validity to it, because I was like, it kind of does make a little sense, and I could see how it would be a plot twist. Like, oh shit,
it would be a hell of a
you
plot
are
twist.
The bad guy. My God, we're so stupid. You were here the whole time.
You said dumb.
Total redemption.
Darth Jar Jar. And then he would of course be Darth, like I guess he would have been like Darth Plagueis, basically. He would have been Sidious's master. If that's theory.
Hell no, he would have been a like an apprentice, maybe.
Yeah,
like an agent for Sidious. That's what I was thinking.
Either way, I mean, I think it's still a cool idea, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
But so we'll see what happens as time goes on. I mean, obviously, we're seeing that there's the image of Wayne T. Carr as Green Lantern. We know that they just cast a Guy Gardner for a Green Lantern series, which is, I guess, going to have its own version of John Stewart, apparently, that we've been hearing as well. I mean, really, it's just, if the fans want,
it's like they're saying it every time we say something, they say, "Oh yeah, we're getting that."
Yeah.
It's like,
sure, because after the theatrical version of Justice League, what have you put out?
Yeah, we have a plan. Don't worry about the plan.
Lobo movie.
Lobo.
Yeah, Lobo movie.
That was Ryan's favorite part in that. Was it?
So we just canceled the Trench movie and the New Gods. New Gods. We've canceled both of them. Anything? And Batgirl. We've canceled Nightwing. We've canceled Nightwing.
I remember that. Remember that Nightwing?
I remember
that was supposed to be directed by the guy that did
Booster Gold.
The Batman, the Lego Batman movie. He was supposed to direct the Nightwing movie.
McKay.
McKay.
Yeah, Adam McKay.
So tell us again about this plan y'all got. I mean, we thought it was a plan when y'all announced 4 movies in a row that didn't really have nothing to do with nothing, but okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the guy they're hoping to save their entire DC Films universe.
Well, not only that, they're banking on the Suicide Squad, because that's what's coming out next.
Yeah.
So they're banking on James Gunn. They're like, yeah, Plastic Man.
Oh, God. I can't believe that's really a movie.
Is that really going to happen, though?
I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to end up the way of the trend.
I doubt it.
Like,
They
why
just
would
want
they
to put
announce
stuff
that?
out there because they want to make people think that they have this huge plan.
Yeah,
Distraction.
it's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Distraction.
Yeah.
Distraction. Don't look over here.
Just
Look
like
over
they're gonna
here.
do Zatanna and all this other stuff, you know, Justice
Zatanna,
League,
like, where does
Dark.
Zatanna even come into this? Like, where did she come into anything?
Yeah, it's like, why are we talking about all of this?
And not even a Man of Steel too.
Yeah, just give us more of this. You know what I mean? Like, give us more of this and this. You know, it's like, come on, you've already set the groundwork for it. More of this. I mean, come on. I mean, this is what we want to see.
No. See, Nicotina, that's dead. Okay,
like,
I mean,
he's like, hey guys, I don't think so.
Hey.
Or better yet, it's like I would have like to see more of this.
Yep.
The Wonder Woman 1917 or what is it?
1917.
1817.
1865.
There's a color version of it right there.
I love it.
Yeah.
That would have been badass.
Yeah, that's a badass picture. Jeez.
Yeah, you got a Zulu warrior, a samurai. I mean, it's really cool, and it
like
says
that's
so
diversity right there. Look
that's
at that.
diversity.
Yep.
But they decided the heads are too much heads. I don't know.
I love how all
crazy,
it took
man.
was for Zach to do an interview with that picture behind him, and everyone's like,
"Oh, everyone
zoom in. What is that?
What's that behind him? What is that? What is that?"
Explode the internet.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, what that? Oh, I can't zoom in on that. Sorry, guys.
I mean, it's wild because like when you look at it again, man, it just blows my mind how, just going back to 2017, like Warner Brothers, had completely flipped Justice League around to match this more Marvel-esque look, right?
Mm-hmm.
But right at the time when Infinity War and Endgame started to come out, people were visibly getting tired of like Marvel movies. Like there was a strong fatigue that was setting in. Like, I don't think that I honestly believe that a lot of people who really are huge fans of the MCU and probably have all of the films. I'm willing to believe there's only like 5 movies that they go and watch out of all of those films. That are of any like real value to them to watch and see again and to talk about. Maybe like 5 movies. And one of them's Iron Man and one of them's Avengers. But I feel like everything has its time to come and it's time to go. And what Zack Snyder was doing with the DCEU, starting with Man of Steel and all the way towards what we know, at least with Justice League, this was something that kind of played to the same like true sentiments of DC itself. We're more grown, we're a little bit darker, and we are much more epic. And when you think of our comic book movies, you should be thinking more along the lines of Lord of the Rings than thinking Fast and the Furious. Because ours is like, this is some like real world. All these characters might not make it. You know what I mean? There's stakes in this. There are real stakes for our characters.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why Dick Grayson's the one that's dead. Because there's real stakes.
There's real stakes. Batman's already lost a lot. That's why he was as jaded as he was in BVS. He doesn't want to believe that there's some kind of savior out there. Like he's seeing the world for what it is. There are no saviors. And
he just sees what potentially could happen with this overpowered being. No one could stop him if something goes down. I'm gonna like take him out before it gets there. DC has always been the more adult, more grown, more introspective like look at these gods and how they battle with that balance between being this unbelievably powered person while also having to try and find a way to have some kind of regular life, or they don't even fit into regular life. I mean, and that's what's so great about DC's characters. You look at the Joker movie, that's not DC proper Joker, but that's the tale of the Joker that everybody can relate to when it comes to people who are like kind of part of that shunned part of society that doesn't really get that good, clean look and doesn't get the best of what the world has to offer.
Right.
I mean, and that turn, and I mean, again, they want to go Marvel-esque, but look when you embrace DC for what it really is. You got $1 billion off of what? $40 million movie? You got $1 billion. And you motherfuckers were dumb enough to not even put all your money behind it, so you still didn't make a hit off of it.
They didn't want to
said, you know
invest
what?
in it.
Never mind. We don't need the money. New Line, you can keep that.
They didn't want to put money.
They were
into
too
it.
stupid to actually invest their money like they should have.
If they would have
40
put more,
million.
Yeah, you keep Joker.
but
We've got
still-
plastic, ma'am.
Exactly, ma'am. Yeah, exactly. and still, when it comes to the Flash movie, there's still these things that are coming up about the movie that just
The movie started off on the wrong foot.
on the wrong foot because it was supposed to have Ray Fisher, Cyborg
yep.
was supposed to be in the movie, and we're supposed to see both Ray Fisher and Ezra Miller together in this movie, and now it looks like we're not going to get these two together. I mean, Uche, what do you think about? I mean, we got to get these two in the movie together, don't we?
Oh,
I
there's
mean,
more.
Really, man, at the end of the day, I just think that I'm not surprised by the move. I mean, I heard about how the situation went down. Obviously, they tried to label his part a cameo, which meant they pay him less. And he's probably doing more work than the cameo's pay is probably worth. On top of everything with him dealing with the studio and being very public with it, that also didn't do him any favors. And Hamada, I just took him off of it, right? But I mean, I have no interest, honestly, in DC movies moving forward. I just don't. And it's a sad thing because Ezra Miller is hung on all this time. He's hung on, and now he's about to get put out to pasture after this Flash movie comes out. Because look, Michael Keaton telling me that Michael Keaton is coming back. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Keaton was in 1989 Batman. The audience that's going to watch this wasn't born when the 89 Batman came out. The main audience that they want for this is not going to be people who are even around for that. So to them, it means nothing that Michael Keaton is in this. I was a kid and I loved 89 Batman. Yeah. It means nothing to me that he's in this movie. Absolutely nothing. It means nothing. Them even teasing the multiverse in the way they're trying to tease it, it means nothing to me. I don't care. I do not care because they're not following any cohesive story that had led them to that point. They're just starting there, and I don't care. So I'm going to go watch it. I'm not going to go watch it.
I mean, honestly, the way that Zach teased multiverse in his movie was much better than the entire DC fandom. And the way that they advertise multiverse, the fact that Steppenwolf said, anti-life is here, and it will get, it gives you control over all life throughout the multiverse. You're just like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like now we're upping the stakes now, and then now we're expanding upon this. And I'm sure they hated the fact that he brought up that term, but it was done so much better.
But they had to have known because it's been there for 5 years.
Yeah, they know what he had. They knew what he had. It's not new. He didn't go and add that stuff in. They knew he was going to have Darkseid. They knew he was going to have, Steppenwolf and Apocalypse. But then they want to blame it on him that they canceled the New Gods movie. Please, that movie's probably been canceled.
If it's multiverse, then there's multiple iterations of the New Gods as well. So really,
they just want to blame him for everything
because they tried to. They're like, well, maybe because Ava DuVernay has been through 5 different rewrites or whatever with her writers.
They
it's
never did
why don't you want another one?
Who's to say she actually even got to write, scripts and get scripts together at a level where you're ready to move forward and start filming something.
And that's all they would ever say about it. We're writing this.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I'm passionate about this because, to me, I've been in that kind of business world. In the NFL, there's the game side and then there's the business side. Right. And the business side is ruthless because there's billions of dollars at stake, and these teams are worth billions, and everything matters for their bottom line in that respect. So people sometimes get treated wrong. They get treated bad. And as players, you can't do nothing about it because that's the business side, and we don't make any decisions in that regard. But you see the same things happen where people were making the right decisions, but other people, because of their egos and because they had the power to do so, they just start destroying them and start taking them apart. And I mean, if you look at a situation like New Gods, who's to say if Zach isn't still heading or still helming the DCEU, that he isn't helping Ava DuVernay kind of create that vision and kind of giving her some of the information that he's been leaning on to come up with to bring his iterations to the screen. So there's a way to connect all those stories and to make them fit the right way when you have somebody who's there to orchestrate it. They don't have that. They never have. And the person that they hired to do it, they didn't let him do it. Yeah. So, it's been exhausting to be a DC fan. It's been exhausting.
I thought you had a good point, because the other day you were talking about, the fact that Ray went through his agent to say, hey, I feel like, I'm not being treated very well here. And, the fact that Jeff Johns was like, dude, you called your agent?
Dude, that's not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool.
That's cool, dude.
Uche was saying, like, dude, when I was in the NFL, you go to your agent, right? That's like standard protocol.
Shit, I was trying to get out of Jacksonville. I almost asked for a trade in Jacksonville right before my last year there, because of the head coach situation, and luckily they changed the situation. So, like, me and my agent backed off of it. But I had called my agent, and I was like, if they don't fire this guy by the start of the new year, the new NFL year, which is like March 17th, if this guy isn't fired, please request that I be traded. And he was like, all right, cool. Well, like a week later, the guy got fired. So I was like, all right, we're good. But you go through your agent. You don't talk to the owner of the team yourself.
They're supposed to represent you.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that guy gets paid 3% to handle my shit. Go handle it,
Hey, and there's some players out there who don't even have an agent. Like they do it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's becoming a thing now. But I mean, that's because you can kind of flip it and just be like, hey, I just want all my money in Bitcoin, and it makes it easier for yourself.
Because I know certain players like Anquan Bolden, it didn't have an agent towards the end. He negotiated his own contract. It was like, damn, these guys are good at it,
Yeah, I mean, it's not that straightforward. You're going to get a lawyer to look at that contract before you sign it. Because if they,
you gotta understand all the legal terms.
You still don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, you're like, wait, what did I just sign? Shit,
Yeah, exactly.
Spend your life away.
I get paid in Jello.
Yeah, Kelly paid in nickels. Yeah, in euros.
In euros.
Yeah, but
what's the exchange on that? $5. Oh shit.
I think Jeff Johns really hated Zach, and that had a lot because Jeff Johns came from that comic book world. I feel like they gave him so much clout coming in the door because they felt like, oh, here's the comic book brain trust that we need.
He was a good writer
to move forward.
Yeah,
because he was a good comic book writer,
right?
Which is clearly the same as writing a movie.
Yeah, right. But that's the thing too. Is that to what degree did little conversations take place where, I mean, I don't know if he actually said this or not, but was there ever a point you think where Jeff Johns said, hey, look, like, I know the characters. Like, he doesn't know the characters like I know them. Like, he's making up his own lore. So we can change this to make it more in line with how the comics are. And they were like, yeah, please more, give us more. Because in reality,
and guys, I know Kevin Feige.
I know it. I've met him before. Now, guys, what
coincidence that their shit looked just like what we were trying to do.
I know. Hey, Jeff Johns, like, and guys, what if we can make it more like the MCU? Because Warner Brothers, honestly, what they want to see before all their DC movies is, I mean, they in a perfect world, they probably want to see this. They want to see that start up like, okay, cool, yeah, we're safe.
Yeah. We're safe.
It's
$1 billion,
so
here we come.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me. I would have never in my life ever imagined that characters like Captain America, Iron Man, fucking, I don't even like Incredible Hulk. I would have never imagined that these characters who couldn't hold a fucking candle to the superheroes of the entire existence of comic books.
Yeah.
That they would be dominating DC's fucking pantheon of characters.
But not only that, though, Uche, I mean, the fact that, when they made the Avengers, I'm sorry, but those were their B-list Marvel characters.
These were B-list Marvel characters.
Because the A-list characters were what? They were Spider-Man. They were the X-Men. And growing up, I would read X-Men nonstop. That's the comics that I wanted to read, and so that was the stories that I wanted to see. But unfortunately, Fox ran that, and they just, their whole take was, continuity, schmontinuity. They're like, whatever, it doesn't matter as long as it's close enough to the storyline. Who cares?
I could forgive it because even though they didn't know where the hell they were in the continuity,
they were like,
they gave us some good. They gave us some good movies. Now they gave us some shit. But they also gave us some good ones.
Like Apocalypse, not so good.
The first two X-Men movies.
Yes.
The first two X-Men movies were excellent.
Yeah, X-Men First Class.
X-Men First Class was very good.
Very good. Very good.
Very good. Days of Future Past, excellent in my opinion.
That was a really
excellent
good movie.
Logan, excellent movie.
Yeah.
And that's the only X-Men movie that there ever existed. So, that's it. We don't have to talk about nothing else. And you can say that, hey, X-Men, and you know what? X-Men, what's also in X-Men that, you don't necessarily find in the MCU? Some more adult nature type stuff, like more serious tones. Definitely. Like in the comic book and in the movies. And the movies didn't even lean into more of the racism themes that they had in the comic books. Yeah. The comic books were heavy into that racism.
Yeah.
Civil rights
mutants too. Yeah.
With mutants. Yeah. And when I say racism, I mean the mutants. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, definitely. And that was a very, very charged story. And that I love so much about the X-Men. And hopefully
that's what drew me to them, is that they had serious stories.
And so hopefully we'll get to see that kind of iteration take place somehow in live action. Although if it's going to go through Disney, I
wouldn't bet on that shit. I would not bet on it at all.
We'll see how it turns out. But Uche, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. This was so much fun, man.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. No, I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you.
Definitely. And Uche, where can all the viewers find you on YouTube or social media?
Well, on YouTube, you can just type in my name, like you see it here on the screen, Uche Nwaneri. That is my channel. That's the name of my channel, is my first and last name. The @Chuckwu77, that's my Twitter handle. And you can find me on Twitch at the AthGeek, the Geek. That's like a play on athlete and geek. But that is, I have a pop culture channel on YouTube by that name, and my Twitch channel is that name. So I guess 3 different ways you can find me.
There you go. Because I mean, really, it's like if, one thing that I didn't want to touch on really fast was that, we're talking about consequences in terms of, we like what Zach has been putting out there and what DC has done because it has consequences. Like people get hurt, people die. Nothing's easy. And that's what people are liking about shows like Invincible, shows like The Boys, is that, there are consequences for having these superpowers. And that's something that Zach has gone on the record of saying. And I think that coming from your background being an NFL player, from your perspective, there are consequences for playing this game. Like there are injuries, there are things that people don't know about. Earlier in the chat, where was it? There are teams that are cheating. There are things happening behind the scenes that none of us will know about unless we are played in the NFL.
Yeah. It's there is a very hard reality about football, and it's advertised as America's sport, you know what I mean? As the American pastime. And, these gladiators who are fighting on the field every week, you know what I mean? Like the gladiators of the gridiron per se. But at the end of the day, like, there's a realness to it that a lot of people will never truly understand. Like I tweeted out today that my knee had swelled up. My right knee, which I've had 2 surgeries on. Like I don't even know what I did. I guess I just kind of moved the wrong way, and
you're like, oh shit, kind of
clicked a little bit. And then for like the next 8-9 days, my leg is like swollen, and but that knee is like structurally damaged to the point where I will need a knee replacement in like 10 years. Like my knee and my shoulder are like completely wrecked. And it's the sport that I chose to play. I didn't necessarily know that it was going to wreck me like that, but hey, if I had to do it again, I probably would do it again because I made a lot of money and, got to live a dream.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, you know, I've made a lot of connections because of it, and it's enriched my life. So I mean, there are consequences to it, and there are things that there are things that are harder for me to do now than they are for you guys to do physically.
Mhm.
But you know, that's just the reality of it. So, you know, you live with it, but people still love to watch on Sundays, and that's why they love it even more, is because they know that players are putting their bodies out there on the line for their cities, you know.
And that's a sacrifice you guys make every day in practice.
Every day.
And all that.
Yeah, every day. Sunday is just the parts you see, but we're making those, we sacrificing for it and dedicating our time and taking time away from family and taking time away from friends to focus on that for, you know, for our career. So, you know.
And freak things can happen in practice too. I mean, look at Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, the guy tore up his knee in practice. And so
I've seen guys go down in practice a lot. Yeah,
and you're just like, oh, that sucks. And when players get hurt, the other players, you know, like they get emotionally like, holy God, you know what I mean? Like, because I mean, it's like, look, they played their whole lives to get to this point, and when you suffer a major injury, you're like, oh my God, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, guys, everybody who's out there on the field, at the end of the day, we compete against each other, but we're also like brothers in this thing. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter what team you're on. Like if I see a guy who's an NFL guy outside of football, like we immediately connect together because it's like a fraternity in a certain sense.
Yeah.
But you see somebody get hurt, yeah, it's, you know, it's not easy to see that type of thing when it happens to guys, because we all know that there's so much that you put into it, that you dedicate to the sport every day, and like physically how much time you spend trying to hone your craft. And for somebody, and a lot of times it's a freak injury. It's not something that you necessarily expect. The guy's leg just lands the wrong way, and it buckles under his weight. And because he has like 3 guys who were like tackling him at that time, it looks even worse because now he's like breaking that shit while people are landing on him.
Like Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, like Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Like, you know, guys who lay it on the line literally, like, and do it proudly for their team. And when they get hurt, nobody likes to see that, because that's a guy who's a leader. That's a guy that that people look up to. So, you know, it does affect the player, you know, in the moment to see that happen.
Definitely.
You could tell when you watch a game and someone gets hurt. It's just like everyone kind of just
nobody
feels it. No one wants to.
Nobody wants anybody to get hurt out there. No. We all want to make it off the field at the end of the game, relatively healthy, without injuries. Yep. Just because we know that it does take a lot from you over time. So you want to be able to make it in between the you know, on the field and in between the lines. You want to be able to be safe in that time, because eventually your body's going to break down just from playing this.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy enough as this. Uche, thank you so much for coming on here, man. This was awesome. And we'll do it again sometime. Definitely, man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all, man. Everybody have a good one. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your chat. Hope everybody has a good evening, and I'll talk to y'all on the next one, man.
All right. And that'll do it for the show, you guys. I'll be back on Thursday for the 4 Nerds, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, ACS, who was here earlier today. And thank you to Uche also, who was on here just a few minutes ago, sharing some crazy stories with us. So, until next time, guys. I don't know. Do you have any parting? I don't have a parting line to drop.
Nerdy.
No, I don't want to say stay
No,
nerdy. That's
nerdy.
Dawson's. That's Dawson's.
It's fire.
It's fire.
It's fire.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.